Yeah, as I'm gonna go in the storm, leave the stream here. Let's see if I can put some music on real quick.
Leaving the U.S. You know, if you listen to the hype.
One night.
Imagine being told you can't own anything, can't speak in public, and can't even choose what to wear, all because you're a woman. Welcome to medieval Europe, where men made all the rules, broke most of them themselves, and still somehow thought they were the sensible ones. Spoiler alert, they weren't. Speaking of these power-hungry medieval men, medieval Europe wasn't just a boys' club, it was the original No Girls Allowed treehouse, except the treehouse was every castle, church, and position of power across an entire continent. While modern workplace discrimination might get you a strongly worded email from HR, medieval discrimination was literally written into law, enforced by armies, and blessed by the Pope himself. Let's talk about kings first. These guys wore fancy crowns, sat on thrones made of actual swords, and had absolute power over everyone's lives. Not a single queen ruled in her own right in medieval England until Mary the Fotis in 1553. And even then, people acted like the world was ending because a woman dared to sit on the throne. Many of these kings could barely read, while their wives and sisters often spoke multiple languages and managed entire royal households. But heaven forbid they touch the crown. It's like having a CEO who can't use email while the entire office is run by their assistant who speaks 5 languages and has 3 degrees. The lords weren't any better. These were basically medieval landlords, except instead of refusing to fix your leaky faucet, they controlled entire regions and could decide whether peasants lived or died. A fascinating stat. Records from the 13th century show that male nobles inherited property 98% of the time, even when they had older, smarter sisters. Imagine being passed over for a promotion because your younger brother knows how to burp the alphabet. That's basically what medieval noblewomen dealt with. And these lords weren't exactly picking up the slack. Many spent most of their time hunting, feasting, or starting petty wars while their wives secretly kept everything from falling apart. Knights, those supposedly chivalrous defenders of honor, were another piece of work. Sure, they wrote poetry about women's beauty and fought in tournaments wearing their ladies' favors, but it was all for show. In medieval tournaments, knights would often wear a piece of their ladies' clothing as a good luck charm, usually a sleeve or a veil. Nothing says true love like wearing your girlfriend's sleeve while trying to knock other guys off horses with a pointy stick. And let's not forget these same romantic knights had no problem enforcing laws that treated women like property. The real disappointment was the political system. Not a single woman could vote, though. To be fair, most men couldn't either, but women couldn't even attend town meetings in many places. There's this hilarious record from a French town in 1267 where a woman tried to speak at a public gathering, and the local officials were so scandalized they spent 3 days debating whether to exile her or just fine her family. They eventually decided on the fine because, get this, they worried exile would give her too much freedom to travel. Imagine being so threatened by a woman's opinion that you need a 3-day conference to decide how to punish her for having one. Speaking of travel, noble women were basically under house arrest. They could only leave their homes with permission from their male guardians and usually needed an escort. One clever noblewoman in the 14th century Yorkshire got around this by convincing her husband she needed to go on frequent pilgrimages. She actually used these religious journeys to manage her own secret trading business. When her husband finally caught on, he was so impressed by how much money she'd made that he pretended not to notice. Sometimes the best man for the job was definitely a woman. The church was especially good at keeping women down while pretending it was for their own good. Priests would preach about women's delicate nature and need for protection, while simultaneously claiming they were temptresses who could corrupt men's souls. Talk about mixed messages. It's like telling someone they're too weak to open a jar, but strong enough to apparently destroy civilization with their feminine wiles. These religious leaders would spend hours writing detailed rules about what women couldn't do, which makes you wonder if they had any actual hobbies. But the crazy part is, despite all these restrictions, some medieval women managed to gain serious power. They just had to be sneaky about it. Eleanor of Aquitaine practically ran England while her son, Richard the Lionheart, was off crusading, but officially she was just managing things until he got back. Christine de Pizan became one of medieval Europe's most famous writers by cleverly packaging her criticism of misogyny as advice for nobles. And Joan of Arc led armies by claiming God told her to do it, because apparently the only way men would take orders from a woman was if they thought the command came from heaven. For the average nobleman, the perfect wife was basically a medieval Stepford wife, beautiful, quiet, and completely obedient. But here's a fun fact. Medieval records show that the most successful noble families were often those where husbands actually listened to their wives' advice. Turns out, ignoring half your population's brain power isn't great for problem solving. Who knew? Speaking of decisions, you wouldn't believe how creative medieval legal systems got when it came to keeping women in their place. The rules were so twisted, they'd make a pretzel jealous. The legal system of medieval Europe should have been called rules for men, suggestions for when men feel like following them. You know how people say justice is blind? Well, medieval justice wasn't just blind, it was deaf, dumb, and definitely biased against anyone wearing a dress. If Lady Justice had been real back then, she probably would have peeked under her blindfold just to make sure she was ruling against the woman. Here's a real case from 1342 England. A woman named Agnes brought her husband to court for stealing her inheritance. The judge's response? He fined her for wasting the court's time because, according to him, a wife's property automatically belonged to her husband anyway. It's like complaining that someone stole your wallet only to be told that your wallet naturally belongs to the thief. Makes total sense, right? The court records show Agnes had to pay a fine of 40 shillings, about 6 months' wages for a skilled worker, for daring to question her husband's right to take everything she owned. The courts had this amazing talent for turning logic into a pretzel. Women couldn't testify in major court cases because they were considered unreliable witnesses. Yet somehow they were reliable enough to be punished for crimes. One poor woman in France was fined for giving false testimony before she even opened her mouth. The judge just assumed she would lie because, well, she was a woman. Talk about a rigged system. The only time women's testimony was fully trusted was when they were confessing to crimes. Funny how that worked. Legal records from the 1300s show some truly bizarre double standards. A man who beat his wife would get a stern talking to maybe, while a woman who raised her voice to her husband could be put in the stocks. There's this fascinating court record from 1389 where a man was acquitted of assault because his wife had provocatively burned his dinner. The judge's written opinion basically said, what else was he supposed to do? I don't know, maybe cook his own dinner. The same court fined a woman a week's wages for excessively sighing during her husband's lengthy explanation of why he needed more spending money. Marriage laws were particularly horrible. Once married, a woman legally ceased to exist as her own person. Everything she owned, earned, or inherited automatically belonged to her husband. There's this incredible case from 1356 where a merchant's widow tried to claim her own shop after his death. The court told her that since the business had been in her name during the marriage, it legally belonged to her husband's family, even though she'd run it alone for 20 years while he was off finding himself on various pilgrimages. She lost her entire livelihood because medieval law couldn't grasp the concept that women might actually be good at running businesses. But wait, it gets better. Women could be convicted of crimes, but they couldn't defend themselves in court. They needed a male relative to speak for them, because obviously a woman couldn't possibly explain her own actions better than some uncle who wasn't even there. Records show that in one town, a woman was accused of stealing bread. Her defense was that she'd actually bought it and had witnesses to prove it. But since her husband was away and her brother was too busy to come to court, she was found guilty by default. The fine? Working in the accuser's bakery for free for 6 months, medieval justice at its finest. The punishment system was equally ridiculous. Men who committed crimes could often buy their way out with fines. Women? Not so much. They faced public humiliation, like being dunked in rivers or forced to wear signs listing their crimes. One court record from 1374 shows a woman was forced to walk through town wearing a sign that said, "I dared to argue with my husband about cheese." The real crime here was clearly the husband's inability to handle dairy-related criticism. Another woman had to stand in the town square for 3 hours holding a sheep because she'd suggested her husband's wool prices were too high. Inheritance laws were another masterpiece of unfairness. The basic rule was simple. Men got everything. A daughter could be the oldest, smartest, and most capable child, but if she had a baby brother, tough luck. All the family property would go to him, even if he was too young to tell the difference between a castle and a sandcastle. The most infuriating is when women did try to fight back legally, they were often accused of being troublemakers or witches. There's a reason why medieval court records show more women accused of witchcraft than any other crime. It was the medieval equivalent of calling the manager, except instead of getting a refund, you might get burned at the stake. Records show that women who brought multiple cases to court were 3 times more likely to face witchcraft accusations than those who stayed quiet. You wouldn't believe how the medieval economy was rigged to keep women poor and dependent. When it came to earning a living, medieval women faced more obstacles than a badly designed obstacle course. Let's talk about what medieval women actually did all day. Their daily lives were incredibly busy. Imagine juggling a dozen different jobs while following strict social rules and somehow making it all work. And work they did in ways that many history books tend to overlook. First up, jobs. Forget what you've heard about women just staying home and embroidering pillows. Medieval women were major players in many industries, especially brewing beer. That's right, until the 1500s, most beer brewers were women, called alewives. One town's records from 1375 show that 78% of licensed brewers were women. They were known for their careful attention to detail, particularly in keeping their equipment clean, which often resulted in better quality beer. Farming was another huge part of women's lives. Everyone in medieval families had to pitch in to make the farm work, and women played a crucial role. They planted crops, raised animals, and managed daily farm operations alongside their other duties. Records from one English village show women doing 70% of the field work while also handling household management. One fascinating record mentions a woman who managed to harvest an entire field while simultaneously breastfeeding twins and supervising 3 toddlers. Now that's multitasking. Speaking of households, let's talk about kids. The average medieval woman had around 5 to 7 children, if she survived having them. But here's the interesting part. They were often raising way more than that. With high death rates, many women ended up taking in orphaned relatives, stepchildren, or apprentices. One household record from 1389 shows a woman raising 12 kids, 3 of her own, 4 stepchildren, 2 orphaned nieces, and 3 apprentices. She apparently kept track of everyone by assigning them different colored threads to wear. Medieval version of name tags. Women found creative ways to manage these large households. They'd create informal childcare networks, taking turns watching each other's kids while others worked. One village actually had a system where women would rotate baby feeding duties, medieval daycare complete with built-in lunch service. They even developed a complex schedule system using notches on sticks since most couldn't write, prehistoric project management at its finest. Their career options were surprisingly varied. Women ran markets, worked as healers, and even participated in construction. Yes, construction. Records show women working as carpenters, plasterers, and even helping build cathedrals. One woman in York became so renowned for her stonework that she trained several apprentices, both male and female, in her techniques. The textile industry was another area where women excelled.
Alright.
Spinning, weaving, and making clothes were serious business ventures, not just household chores. A skilled spinner could earn enough to support her family, and many women became successful cloth merchants. The intricacy of the work required patience and skill, and many women passed these specialized techniques down through generations. Perhaps the most impressive aspect is how women created their own economic networks. They trade services, share resources, and help each other out in ways that often didn't involve money at all. Need childcare? Trade some eggs. Want someone to teach your daughter to read? Exchange some wool. One record mentions a woman paying for her son's education by teaching the teacher's wife how to make cheese. These informal economies helped communities thrive and showed impressive business savvy. Here's a fascinating statistic. In one French town, records show that women were involved in over 200 different types of work. They were bakers, butchers, candle makers, rope makers, and more. While they often had to work within the social constraints of their time, they found ways to pursue various careers and contribute to their community's economic life. Life certainly wasn't easy. Between managing households, raising children, and handling various jobs, medieval women had their hands full. But they created strong support networks and developed efficient systems to get everything done. Church gatherings, for instance, became opportunities to exchange news, share tips, and arrange trades, combining social, spiritual, and practical needs in one setting. The day-to-day reality for medieval women was complex. While they faced many restrictions, they also found ways to be productive members of society and often gained respect in their communities through their skills and hard work. Records show numerous cases of women being praised for their business acumen, healing abilities, or craft skills. Medieval women developed a remarkable set of skills out of necessity. Many could brew beer, deliver babies, manage farms, run businesses, and raise large families, sometimes all at once. They were experts at finding practical solutions to daily challenges and making the most of their opportunities. And that's really what defined medieval women's lives: practicality, resourcefulness, and the ability to make things work despite challenges. For every illuminated manuscript showing a woman in quiet contemplation, there were countless others out there actively participating in medieval economic and social life, finding ways to thrive within the structure of their society. These women weren't just surviving, they were often the backbone of medieval communities, contributing their skills, knowledge, and labor to keep society running smoothly. But the economy wasn't really in their favor. The economy was like a rigged game of Monopoly where women weren't even allowed to roll the dice. Want to start a business? Sorry, you need a man's permission. Want to keep your earnings? Nope, that belongs to your husband now. Want to inherit property? Better hope you've got a time machine to take you to the 21st century. The whole system was designed to keep women's purses as empty as a medieval lord's promises. Let's break down the numbers, because they're wild. Records from a 1378 English town show that women were paid exactly half what men earned for identical work. Half. And this wasn't some unwritten rule. It was actually written into guild regulations. One document literally states, "A woman's work, being naturally inferior, shall be compensated at half the rate of a man's." The only exception, if the woman could prove she was better at the job than any available man. The catch? She had to prove it to a panel of men who'd lose money if they admitted she was better. Talk about a conflict of interest. It's like asking turkeys to vote for Thanksgiving. The tax system was another masterpiece of medieval unfairness. Women-owned businesses were taxed at higher rates because, get this, they were considered unusual and therefore suspicious. A female baker in York had to pay 3 times the tax of her male
Unusual
competitor,
and
even though her bread
suspicious.
won every local competition.
Oh man,
Her
that's
response?
crazy.
She started selling her bread through her 10-year-old son. Suddenly the tax dropped to normal rates because apparently a child was more
This is the lady
trustworthy
that's
than
paying
a
these
skilled
things, huh?
adult woman. The tax records actually list her business as John's Bread, even though little John could barely reach the oven. Guild regulations were particularly creative in
There's the
keeping women down.
artist.
Most guilds flat out banned women from joining. The few that allowed them had special female member rules. The Weavers' Guild of Paris required women to prove they could weave blindfolded while reciting the Lord's Prayer backward, a test they definitely didn't
What?
make men take. One clever woman actually managed it, so they added "while standing on one foot" to the requirements. Another guild required women to prove they had no living male relatives within 100 miles who could do the job instead. Medieval workplace discrimination was nothing if not thorough. The property game was even worse. Women technically could own land, but good luck keeping it. Records from 1365 show a woman inherited a farm from her aunt, only to have the local lord declare it improper for a woman to own so much land. His solution? He'd help manage it for her. And by help, he meant take all the profits while leaving her with all the work. It's like having a business partner who takes your money but makes you do their taxes. She ended up having to marry her farmhand just to keep a small portion of her own property. Banking was another joy. Women couldn't take out loans without a male guarantor, but they were fully responsible for their husband's debts. One poor woman in 1392 had to pay off her husband's gambling debts by selling her prized cow
Sketch
collection.
people hanging out.
Yes, medieval people collected cows. They were like the Beanie Babies of their time. When she finally paid everything off, her husband celebrated by taking out another loan. The court records show she eventually solved this problem by telling every moneylender in town that her husband was actually her mentally confused uncle. Medieval problems require medieval solutions. The workplace itself was a maze of restrictions. Women couldn't work after sunset because it was improper. They couldn't work too close to men because it was distracting. They couldn't earn too much because it would upset the natural order. One successful female merchant in Florence had to pretend all her business decisions came from her cat, because apparently a cat was more credible than a woman. The best part? The cat signed documents with its paw print and nobody questioned it. The cat, by the way, had a better credit rating than most men in the city. Despite all these restrictions, some medieval records show women running successful underground businesses. They created secret trading networks, used code names, and sometimes disguised themselves as men. One group of female traders in Venice used a complicated system involving laundry on clotheslines to signal market prices to each other. Because technically, there was no law against suspicious laundry arrangements. One official reportedly complained, "They're turning honest washing into dishonest commerce." The most absurd was how they justified all this economic discrimination. Women couldn't handle money because they were too emotional over minor price disagreements. Women were too weak to run businesses, yet they were somehow strong enough to do backbreaking farm work, while their husbands bought yet another unnecessary sword. One account shows a wife carefully managing her family's finances for 20 years while her husband invested their savings in a foolproof plan to find mermaids. But you know what happens when you tell someone they can't do something for long enough? They get really, really clever at finding ways around the rules. And medieval women? They turned outsmarting the system into an art form. Being clever wasn't just a bonus for medieval women, it was a survival skill. When men create every rule in the book, you either learn to read between the lines or get crushed by them. And medieval women, they got so good at finding loopholes, they could have taught modern lawyers a thing or two. Medieval records are full of women who turned oppression into opportunity, usually while the men were too busy congratulating themselves to notice. Take education. It might give them dangerous ideas, but noble women needed to manage household accounts, so they convinced everyone that learning numbers wasn't really reading. One clever noblewoman taught her entire household to read by claiming she was just teaching them to count prayer beads. By the time anyone caught on, her servants were better educated than most priests. She even started a trend of prayer counting classes that spread through 3 counties before the church realized they'd accidentally created an underground literacy network. The business world saw some particularly creative solutions. Since women couldn't officially run shops, they became really good at running them unofficially. Records from 1367 show a man's business that was mysteriously only open when his wife was there. The husband spent most of his time napping in the back room while his wife did all the work. But hey, technically, it was his shop. When customers asked why he never seemed to know anything about his own business, he'd say he was practicing delegation. Medieval management at its finest. The wife eventually started charging people extra first consulting fee. Some women got even more creative with their workarounds. One genius in the 14th century London ran her entire merchant empire through a network of cats. Yes, cats. She trained them to follow specific trade routes, carrying messages hidden in their collars. The local guards never thought to check the cats, because who would suspect a cat of running an international? Court records show more confusion than anger. One judge actually asked if the cat should be put on trial too. She got off with a warning because nobody could figure out how to write illegal feline commerce in Latin. The whole women are too emotional thing backfired beautifully sometimes. Since everyone expected women to be dramatic, they could get away with outrageous behavior that would have landed men in serious trouble. Records show a woman avoided paying taxes by bursting into tears and wailing about her poor little chickens whenever the tax collector came around. He was so uncomfortable with female emotions that he'd leave without collecting. She kept this up for 12 years. Her poor little chickens probably owned half the town by then. The best part? She didn't even own chickens. Speaking of playing the emotion card, some women turned the whole hysteria diagnosis into a superpower. Can't attend a boring social event? Hysteria. Don't want to marry that creepy old lord? Hysteria. Need a day off from pretending to be bad at everything? You guessed it, hysteria. One noblewoman reportedly avoided an arranged marriage by developing a mysterious ailment that made her speak in riddles whenever her unwanted suitor was around. Miraculously, she recovered completely. That it was the most convenient case of hysteria he'd ever seen. Praise their husbands for brilliant ideas that were actually their own, run entire estates while pretending to just help a little, and solve major problems while making men think they'd figured it out themselves. A woman in 1382 fixed her town's entire water supply system, but convinced everyone it was her intellectually challenged brother's idea. Because they'd rather believe a man was secretly a genius than admit a woman knew about engineering. She later used the same technique to redesign the town's defensive walls, cure a cattle plague, and invent a new type of plow, all credited to various male relatives who could barely dress themselves. The statistics are pretty telling. In towns where women weren't allowed to own property, there's a suspicious number of businesses owned by sickly men who needed their wives to handle everything. In one French village, 60% of the male business owners were reportedly too delicate to handle their own affairs. Either medieval men were remarkably fragile, or medieval one town's records show an epidemic of masculine frailty that mysteriously affected only men whose wives were good at mathematics. But perhaps the most impressive feat was how they passed these skills down through generations. Mothers taught daughters the art of playing dumb while being smart, of following rules while breaking them, and of smiling sweetly while running circles around the men who underestimated them. One book of household tips from 13 authority. Its recipe for sweet bread is really instructions for hiding money from your husband. The section on proper flower arrangement contains detailed instructions for running a secret business. Even the embroidery patterns were actually maps showing safe routes for women travelers. All this mental gymnastics had an interesting side effect. Medieval women were really good at reading people and situations. When you have to outsmart half the population, some historians argue that medieval women invented psychology, not because they were naturally more emotional, but because they had to become experts at managing male egos just to survive. Speaking of marriage, you wouldn't believe the creative ways women found to handle being legal.
All right, guys, did you learn enough about medieval times? How the women operate during medieval times? Let's change it. Let's listen to something else. I just put that on there to have you listening to something. What's this guy doing? He's sweating around here? Oh, he's just hanging around. I think he's a little bit mentally ill. Something's wrong with that dude, man. What's up with that dude? Fucking dude. Fucking dude, fucking dude. Okay, let me park right here. See if I can get anything. Let me talk to the guy, my friend in Mexico, in Acapulco. Ben has a fat tire. Wow.
Hey,
¿Qué onda, brother?
onda, aquí.
¿Qué estás haciendo? ¿Estás ocupado?
No,
¿Estás caminando por la Reforma para ir a la zona rosa? ¿Estás caminando Ajá. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I remember that. That's an old theater, though, isn't it? Es un teatro muy antiguo, ¿no? Oh, I know. That's what I heard. And there's a lot of transsexuals too, right? Trannies. No, I don't. Yeah. Yeah. I remember when I first went there back in the like the early '90s. It was good. They had a lot of. Oh yes, I was addicted to those places. I used to go to those places. There was a place called Manhattan. Do you remember Manhattan? Kips, yes, yeah. What was crazy? I remember I took my, because I was married to a Mexican lady, right? And I was living at her house. Fuimos con sus hermanos allá, the table dance. Yeah, y tenía una chava que conocí y me hizo un lap dance. Mi cuñado me dijo, oh, eres muy mal, muy mal. Me dijo, because I went crazy. But it's normal though. Just that's what you go there for, right? To enjoy, right? Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else. Hasta ahí no más. Oh yeah, that was crazy. Uh, yeah, I did a live stream there about 3 years ago when I was with Brian. When I was with Brian, I tried to get him to, Brian, after you have to get him drunk to really enjoy himself, I think, because he's a little stiff. He kind of reminds me of I don't know, I shouldn't be stereotypical, but like someone from Scandinavia or something like that. They're serious, you know. Oh, really? No. Yeah, he was. Yeah, that's like my brother, but my brother wouldn't even drink. He doesn't even drink. He would. Yeah, he's un tipo riro para mí. But yeah, I think Nirvana. The reason why Nirvana, he does go to those places, but he was talking to some ladies in Guadalajara for a while, um, and he said that one of them was wanting him to pay or something. I don't remember, but I don't know. But anyway, so some of the stuff that he does like that, he doesn't want um, it to be on a live stream because he's worried about what people will think about him, you know. But no, but that guy, the friend that he was with, JRD, he's serious too because he's pretty serious. That guy. Yeah, he's got a baby already. I can't believe that. I remember when I saw him like 3 years ago. He yeah, JRD. Yeah, I met him a couple times. Yeah, I met him 2 times, and I was always with Brian. Yeah, he likes Brian for some reason. But yeah, JRD's pretty. He's from Ohio. He actually made a lot of money in I think it was like cryptocurrency or something. So he's able to live, without having to work. He might be doing some work now, but he makes some good money. Yeah, he might. He might like that. Yeah. I don't know him that well. I just met him a couple times, but he seems like a nice guy. He likes to drink though. Yeah, he likes to drink. He lives in, he says he lives in Del Valle, right? The La Colonia del Valle, which is not too bad. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think Nirvana, he's very what do you call it? Very tight. He doesn't want to spend more than $20 for a hotel room. So he must have got some type of cheap room down in El Centro, Histórico El Centro. Yeah, maybe it's Upland. Yeah, because those. Oh, there are a lot, huh? Oh, that's right, there are, huh? There's that one big street, huh? Oh my God, yeah, you gotta be careful then, huh? Oh, Pino Suarez, yeah. That's a good place, huh? Merced, La Merced, yeah. Oh yeah, I remember, they just stand outside, huh? Oh, really? Wow. Really? Really? Oh, really? Wow. ¿Recuerdas, había un lugar en la zona, bueno, por la estación, what is it, Sevilla, yeah. Había una barbershop, una estética, que enfrente es un barbershop, pero atrás había otra cosa. Si conoces el lugar o no? I went there. Really? Oh wow, that's crazy. Really? Wow. Wow. Wow, that's amazing, man. That's crazy. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they all they do is just sit there, right? They don't do anything, huh? They just sit there and wait, huh? Yeah. Right, right. Oh yeah? Kate, what did your wife say about that? Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, I can imagine. Casa de Cita, yeah, oh yeah. That's right, yeah. In La Reforma or Universal? La Prensa? Universal, okay, yeah. Wow. Yeah. Really? That's awesome, man. That's the best time to have a. Maybe I think Nirvana will probably end up getting one of those because he seems a little awkward towards girls a little bit. I know he talks to them. Como, hey, how do you like the way he speaks Spanish? Como está su español? He talks really. Yeah, he talks very chill, right? Todo bien, oh, así me gusta. But he talks really like really chill, huh? Like like he's a stoner or something. Yeah, yeah. Carajo, carajo, or carajo. Yeah, yeah. Viva Mexico, cabrones. Yeah, I think he got a little high, huh? Really? He must have edited some parts out, huh? Uh, yeah. Well, if he was doing that stuff on Kick, they wouldn't care, man. The only thing on Kick is that sometimes they're sensitive. Like there was a guy that got banned because he was having sex with some girl in Cancun, Chris Travels. Yeah, and you can hear them fucking. Then they're like, oh my god, they're making the noises and everything. Um, but I think he got banned not because of that. It was more because he when he walked to the bed, you could see his bare ass, his pompies, and he can't show any nudity, so that will make they'll ban you for like a few days. Yeah. But as far as copyright music, yeah, language, yeah, you can. It's smoking pot, that kind of stuff. Oh, one thing they don't like is they don't like you filming someone that's fighting, or if you fight someone, yeah, they'll ban you for that. Violence, yeah, they don't like violence, yeah. Oh yeah. No, Captain G. Uh huh. Yeah, or just put the camera towards facing somewhere else. Captain G. He was in the Philippines, right? And they had rented an Airbnb. Him and Chris. Those guys are like they call them sex pats because they're always going around trying to find girls. So they had invited some people to come to the house to party, right? So they had like three girls, and I think there were like two guys that were their brothers or something. I don't remember. But anyway, he was trying to make out. He was making out with this girl in the pool. He was like kissing her. They were all over each other, and she was on top of him and everything. It was crazy, man. It was like almost soft porn, man. Captain G's crazy. He's from Slovenia, but he said that he spent a lot of time in Ibiza because he's a captain. He actually has a yacht and everything, so he takes out clients. Yeah, but he loves to party, man. That guy's hardcore partier, man. Yeah, if you watch his videos, man, that's why he calls. He's like, I'm Captain G because I know where the G spot is. I know where to find the G spot. And then he says, I need to get some pussy juice. He's like, I'm looking for some pussy juice. Yeah, he's crazy. If you ever watch some of his videos, it's crazy, man. That guy likes to party a lot, man. I I think he remind you of the younger version of you, maybe, huh? Oh yeah. That one guy, isn't he more serious? The other German guy that's in Mexico. Um, what's his name? He seems kind of serious. Yeah, John. He seems more serious, huh? I can tell, man. You don't you're not you, the, most Germans are pretty serious, aren't they? Or no? Yeah, yeah. Serious like that, huh? No, no, yeah. No, actually, that when he was with Brian, I had to leave them eating tacos. Um, ¿Recuerdas que vinimos a Acapulco? vine a Acapulco, invité ese chava, esa señorita, esa señora. Yeah. So JRD and Brian were eating tacos. Ellos estaban comiendo tacos. Y yo estaba afuera hablando con esa señora. Yeah. So that I left them to go, and I was like, "Eh, these guys are boring. I'm gonna go outside and talk. Go out and talk." So I was doing that. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I mean, I would love to hang out with you in Mexico City, man, because you know Mexico City very well. Uh huh. They know. Oh yeah, yeah. What happened to table dance? How come there's no more table dance hardly? Yeah, they cleaned it up. Huh? Why did they change that? Because of the crime or what? Uh huh. The the mayor? You mean AMLO? Right. Uh huh. Ebrard. Okay. Uh huh. Oh wow. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Really? Mm-hmm. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Oh really? Wow. Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, you know what really destroyed Mexico when I saw it last time was the feminists, man. They came in there and they like spray painted a lot of the walls and everything, and even the statue. Oh man, they're terrible, man. It's kind of like the woke here in the United States. Yeah, yeah, they hate man. That's crazy, huh? In Acapulco, there's not that many people like that, right? Or no? Uh huh. La Condesa, huh? But it's not Puerto Marqués. It's not Puerto Marqués. Yeah. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. The Playa Gay. Oh really? Oh wow. Uh huh. Really? Damn. That's crazy. No, that's not interested. Not for me. Oh yeah. Yeah. I love it. Hey, do you ever watch the? I don't know if you saw the channel Tangerine Travels. There was a couple. They were from. Well, the guy was originally from Minnesota. Yeah, they had a dog. Alaska it was the husky. That yeah, he married a Mexican. Yeah, so one time he went to Puerto Vallarta, and he went to the gay area. I forgot the name of the gay area. Gay area. It's it's in Puerto Vallarta. I think it's they call it romance area or something like that. I don't know, but so anyway, he was walking around. He was like, oh, I thought there, a lot of guys were checking me out because I had been working out at the gym. He says maybe I'm good looking, and I was like, dude, no, you're in a freaking gay area. That's why they're checking you out, man. And sure enough, he was in the gay area. he was. Yeah, he was like a good looking guy and everything because all the guys were looking at him. Yeah. Gay Lahar, yeah. Oh, really? Really? Oh, wow, that's crazy. How about in Guanajuato? Are there a lot of gays in Guanajuato? Y- Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah. Wonder Ravana, he's got a good personality. He should be able to talk to girls easily, but he has to. I think he has to make the like a really crazy video with night content, man. Yeah. Right. Yeah. There you go. Yeah, that's the way to do it, huh? It's a good strategy. Uh huh. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Oh, no? Yeah, he would definitely have. Yeah, you gotta be crazy. That's why. Uh huh. Oh yeah, they like the marijuana stuff, huh? He was talking to some girls there too, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm sure he can find it. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. J- uh huh. Too much stuff. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he could do that. Is Acapulco like that on the week? Is the weeknights it's okay too or no? Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm. Saturday. Okay. What is it? Yeah, Saturday. When is vacation for you guys in Mexico? Is it start in June or May? In when do people start coming for vacation? In June or in May? Hmm. Oh, until then, really? That's pretty late, huh? Wow. Mm. Yeah, I can imagine. That's crazy. It's super busy during that time, huh? Wow. Mm-hmm. Really? Oh shit. They hung up on you? Sorry about that, Hans. Yeah, I'm still here. I actually hung up. Sorry about that. Yeah, I can imagine. Really? Saturday's more action than Friday. Friday. Yeah, I know. That's too bad that he didn't. That he couldn't just go to Acapulco for Saturday, huh? He should have gone. Uh, yeah. Really? Wow. In Acapulco? Uh huh. Wow. When you came to Acapulco in '92 or '93, huh? Wow. Uh huh. Yeah. Oh wow. 32 years. Wow, that's a long time, man. That's good. That's Oh yeah. Germany's too cold. People are too cold, huh? Too serious. Uh huh. Yeah, exactly. That I know how you feel. I mean, that's the same way I am too. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Even even the pop rock stuff, huh? That's good. That's awesome. Yeah. Hey, so those people that your friends they were on the stream that came from Mexico City. How old are they? What are their ages? They look younger, really? I don't know. The guys, the Mexican people that were sitting next to you in the beach. You, you were drinking with them. Those are your followers, right? Oh, really? Really? Wow. Oh, okay. That's good. Interesting. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Uh huh. Oh, really? Wow. Wow. Oh, really? Uh huh. Nice. Really? Really? Wow. They drink a lot, huh? Really? Damn. So you had like 5 beers? Oh man. Oh yeah. Compadre. Then you fell asleep in your chair, huh? Oh my god. Damn. Really? Oh my god, that's a lot. That's Are you good? Are you? Yeah. Are you gonna drink tonight? Oh yeah. There you go. You gotta finish it. Drink me. Exactly, man. That's great, man. That's awesome. I like tequila too. Hey, there's gonna be a good boxing fight tonight. The Japanese guy is gonna box. They call him Monster. That would be a good. Yeah, he's a lightweight. He's from Japan. Yeah, he's fighting Canelo. Yeah, they were saying Canelo was like the worst boxer because he didn't have any punches hardly yesterday. He was just kind of like protecting. Yeah, it was really a bad fight. No good fight, huh? Not a good fight. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, somewhere I think it was yeah, somewhere in the middle in Saudi Arabia or somewhere. I don't remember exactly. But because the guy Inoue, he has like a contract with them. He made like $7 million so far, but he could be making more though. Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Yeah. A little bit boring, huh? Yeah, you're right. More money is involved, huh? Yeah. 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 Oh yeah. Reddit games, Reddit circus. Oh, that's what they say, huh? Wow. That's crazy. Let me see if Nirvana went back live. I don't think he did. I'm actually live now. Yeah. Yeah, hopefully it will. He needs to go. He needs to do it on Kick too, though. I think I keep telling him do both on Kick and YouTube together because that's what I do. I always keep. I mean, even though I don't have many viewers now, I'm doing both on Kick and YouTube, so that way they see me. Yeah, Kick is okay, man. It's good. There's a guy. His name is Action Man. That guy's crazy, man. Oh man, he used to be a heroin addict, and he spent time in jail in prison, and he was playing games, but he's very popular on Kick. He was popular on Twitch, but he was in Japan with Ice Poseidon. He the guy's pretty funny. He went to like a gay rights rally in Texas, and they were giving him free drinks because they thought he was gay. Like he was like and he got really drunk. It was funny. It was crazy. But he's a funny guy. I'll send you his videos. He's pretty funny. He's Yeah, he's pretty funny. He's kind of crazy. Sometimes the stuff he does, and he likes to smoke pot a lot too. But yeah, there's a channel. It's called Repeat on Demand, and they show a lot of the popular streamers that are on Kick. Yeah, yeah. I'll send it to you so that way you can see the that kind of channel. Yeah, yeah. As long as you're not like Vitali. The guy Vitali was pretty crazy. He got arrested in the Philippines. I don't know if you heard about him. He's pretty crazy. Yeah, yeah. He's still in jail. I think they're gonna try. They're charging him for some stuff, and then they're gonna deport him. But they're just kind of waiting around just to make him suffer, to use him like kind of like an example. Yeah. So, but anyway, I'll send this to you. You take a look at it. All right, brother. Okay, brother. I'll let you go. Take care. All right. You too. All right. See you later. Take care. Okay. Bye. Bye. Bye.
I'm sure property the Kardashians should I raise maybe.
Oh, we got one at Taco Bell.
I got swatted at a Trump rally. It's like you go to these businesses to stream and I got swatted. I got swatted at a Trump rally. It's like you go to these businesses to stream and you're leaving like a path of wreckage, just destruction behind homeless people that like. No. I got swatted. swatted it up the Trump rally. It's like you go to these businesses to stream and you're leaving like a path of wreckage, just destruction. Behind homeless people that like have had shit in my house during a swatting. Wait, why do you have homeless people in your house when you're getting? Because I make stupid ass content. You were, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a homeless heroin addict at one point in your life. Yeah, I was actually. By 19, I was a full-blown heroin addict. I used to panhandle in front of the Rock and Roll McDonald's in Chicago. That was one of my spots. It's a nice McDonald's. Beautiful. I was making $300 a day some days. Really? Dude, I was a beast. Do you remember what your like peak day was? Like highest day? Yeah, I got like $1,000 in one day. And you were making enough to live out of the hotel too. Yeah, I was selling heroin. I go to the blood pressure machine. Oh my god. I put that on my arm, I go, and then I go to do it, and then the nurse walks in again, and I freak out, and I throw the needle on the ground. So we're riding around with a bunch of guns and drugs in Chicago, and then I see the cops pulling up right there. So they're still in the car, I have the dope in my hand, and I just start shoving it in my ass as fast as I can. Penetration? Yeah. 3 2-year sentences ran concurrently. That's horrible. With boot camp. You were supposed to fight Brandon Herrera, weren't you? Yes. You had a little dispute with Amaranth. That wasn't a dispute. She described you as a... Yeah, I don't want to get this channel demonetized. It's all right, you know, we can just bleep stuff. They were a kooky and shooting patterns. You can't really hide. If you're doing IRL stream, there's no way to hide where you're going. No. So all it takes is one person to like recognize anything, and that's just it. And what do they do? Like they'll call and say that there's I just murdered my family or something like that, or like they'll say like there's a gun on us, or they were threatening someone with a gun. And this is just everywhere you go. That doesn't matter, dude. Everywhere. That's just honestly why I don't like leaving the house. I got swatted at the Trump rally. What happened? Cop handcuffed me. I got detained by the Secret Service.
Hey, hello, I got a pickup for DoorDash pickup for Gabriella.
Secret Service pulling up on you is kind of sketchy too. That's serious.
Thank you.
Is there anything you don't want to talk about before we get into it? Whatever. You seem like a pretty open book. Dude, yeah. I was watching your No Jumper episode this morning, and on the way here, it was like the perfect opportunity. Dude, the whole highway got shut down because some dude did shit up, you know. Right. So I was stuck for an hour just listening to the No Jumper episode. Nice. Perfect. Gabriella. I've never been swatted. Oh,
yeah, let me see if I have another one. Hold on. I think I just have this one.
This is like they'll say it's a wellness check. So now they don't come in guns blazing.
Yeah, that's the only one I have for now. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
You're about to like yourself or something. I don't understand. Like just open the stream up, dude. Like I've told them that many times, and they just don't work with you on that. Like they don't give a fuck. No, they won't listen. The police are very undertrained. Like to where I was when I got swatted in DC, I talked to the police chief or one of the high-end detectives there, and I was like. He was like,
thanks, Randa. I don't know. I'm just trying to build my community back up. I don't have a lot of viewers now, but you know.
Most police departments don't know how to handle it. Like, I mean, the one at the Trump rally was crazy.
I was streaming simultaneously on YouTube and Kick both.
My life is at play. Like my life is at stake, dude. Yeah, sure. It's nuts that people can just freely make prank calls to the cops. It should be like a 10-year sentence minimum. Like what? You see every now and then in the news they'll like make an example out of one of the people who does it. Yeah. But like they don't ever stop it. A lot of the guys are from overseas too, which makes it hard. Some of the guys aren't even in America doing it. That's what makes them tough. Do you know who's doing it to you?
No, this is Action Man.
Like the group.
Aaron.
Do you think it's a certain?
He's being interviewed by this guy.
Group, but then like it's not just them. And like not everyone, like I said, not everyone is calling in as a SWAT saying I'm gonna murder someone, but they'll be like. We'll be at a restaurant and they'll just say like,
yeah, but I know Adam 14.
There's a guy in your store with
something happened to that guy. I don't know. I guess they shut.
What
the heck?
And I'm just like,
oh man, what's they doing, man?
They'll start review bombing.
Got all these people double parting on Money Pulse.
Dude, it gets so crafty. They'll go to my Discord, and this happened at a BJ's. They'll go to the Discord and they'll post the address of it, and I have like an active Discord, and all of a sudden it'll start getting review bombed. Oh, and then they'll call the store. After it gets review bombed and tell someone, and then they'll say that I'm the guy doing it. So yeah. It's almost like you go to these businesses to stream and you're leaving like a path of wreckage, just destruction behind you. And it's like a part of me feels bad because it's like, okay, if you subtract me, none of this is happening. Yeah. But then it's like, dude, I have a job to do. I have to leave my house. Like I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess when you're streaming, it makes you kind of a natural target for that kind of shit because they get to see your reaction, which is really why they're doing it.
You know?
Yes.
Have you ever tried anything to like deter people?
I try. Honestly, I just lean into it more now because I just don't. And now they finally don't come. Like now they'll call me, or they'll try to confirm.
You've mastered it.
I guess.
You've mastered the
After like they come to my house like 50 different times.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how many times. Just alone in my most recent one.
Is there like what was the point where it was most frequent? How often was it happening to
The
you?
Miami house.
How often?
Every day.
Literally every day?
Like, they would get calls every day. The police.
Was there any point where the cops were like, "Hey, we're showing up here every day and nothing's happening"? Like,
that's what you would think it is, but like I guess like I said, the laws are just out of place. They're outdated because it's like a newer crime. So
For
when
sure.
the laws are being made, there wasn't cell phones or anything like
For
that.
sure.
So
Laws are being made.
there's nothing that they could even like do. Basically,
passing a new law takes like 100 years to do.
I think they're finally like trying to like make it to where it's like they can't even abuse the wellness call. Like that's what they're trying to do because that's how people are getting around it now.
Yep.
Because if the cop is undertrained and if it's a wellness check, they're basically going in there with intent, not intent, but they're not assuming something good is happening.
Jesus
For
Christ,
sure, same
dude.
thing.
It's a
basically.
bad
These are
situation.
freaking
Yeah.
idiots.
And then if like somebody has weed, like I'm saying, like Texas, like I said, Texas is like not fully like decriminalized or whatever. So like if someone has weed or what, something they shouldn't have, it just escalates it. Like I've been around like homeless people that like have had shit in my house during a swatting. Dude, I've had the stupidest shit happen.
Wait, why do you have homeless people in your house?
Because I make stupid ass content.
We're actually pretty soon going to get a homeless guy on the show because he's a super interesting guy that, you know, one of our good friends here knows.
Guys.
But like, what kind of content do you do with homeless people?
I
Like,
threw
why
a
are they at your
homeless
crib?
party. We like got close with one of my homeless guy named Henry. Yeah.
That's lit.
Yeah, it was actually a lit time. It was a good time.
Describe the party, like how to play out.
I had like 7 or 8 homeless. I had like 8 to 10 homeless people in my house, and we were all like, it played out really well.
And you guys just partied
We were
all night,
partying,
getting
we were
lit.
drinking, doing other stuff. They were doing other stuff.
Yeah, stuff that
Oh
maybe
my
you
God.
can't talk about.
I don't want to get this channel demonetized.
It's all right, you know. We could just bleep stuff.
Okay.
I mean, they could have been.
They were shooting
lit.
at us. No,
Lit.
they're for sure. No.
Just like on stream, or were they at
In the
least step
background,
off?
yeah. They
Okay.
would go on camera.
Okay, that's good.
Couldn't
That's
do
good.
that, yeah.
I was thinking like, damn, you can do that on Kick.
No. Definitely not. There's
shit.
rules on Kick.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, you guys are probably wondering what's going on. We've just been kind of chatting for a little bit.
Yeah, I forgot that
We're back with the Gobcast, yo. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. You guys know the drill by now. Sub if you haven't already. Like if you haven't already. If you haven't done either, what the hell are you doing? We have a very special guest today. We have someone who's from a very similar area to me. You're from Vernon Hills, yeah?
Yeah.
From Aurora.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. So only like an hour south.
Like,
So
okay.
we grew up in a very similar area, yeah.
No.
But we have a very, very interesting and controversial Kick streamer in the house. We got action, man. You're much more than a streamer, though, because you got a lot of lore behind you.
There is lore.
Now, for someone who's watching this that's maybe never seen your content before, how would you describe yourself to them?
That was a pretty good question. I would say that. Well, I would describe myself as unique or interesting.
What do you think it is that makes you that way?
I like to feel like that I'm very good at a multitude of things.
Drive west on West 4th Street. Then, in 300
and I,
feet, turn right onto South
I always used to
Avenue.
pride myself on my work ethic. You know what I mean? So I mean, yeah. That was a tough one because like it goes in phases because you know I've been doing this so long. When I first started streaming, I was like a rage guy, and I would break shit.
700 feet, turn right onto
Your
West
content was
4th
just like,
Dude, but like it was like,
farming.
but I was like, I actually have anger problems.
Oh, so
So,
it
like,
wasn't clip
no,
farming. Like,
no.
you really pissed
Oh
off.
no, like I do. Like there was a couple times where I elbowed my desk so hard that like I had to go to a doctor and I lost feeling in it and like it was tingly.
Oh my God.
I've probably broken over like 200 monitors. I'm not even. I probably spent. This is when I wasn't even making that much money. I probably spent like $20,000 on equipment.
What was on the monitor that pissed you off so bad?
I was just freaked. I punched a camera hit from playing Fortnite and Halo.
Oh my, not
Or Fortnite.
dude.
You don't even know. Like I have 30,000 hours of time streamed Fortnite. Probably.
What?
Yeah.
That's a
Crazy,
load of
man.
Fortnite.
Yeah.
That's
what like
crazy.
led me here to this point in my life was Fortnite.
Yeah, it's 4 minutes.
There's a lot of destruction.
You listen.
One of the things that I think the main reason I want to get you on the show is honestly your story with drug addiction.
Yeah.
Because before you ever started streaming, you were, correct me if I'm wrong, but you were a homeless heroin addict
Yeah.
at one point in your life.
Yeah, I was actually. I was actually I was in Cook County Jail 3 months before I moved in back with my mom, and then I went to jail again from getting arrested for selling heroin in a Bridgeview motel.
500 meters. Your destination.
Bridgeview, and then I beat that case by like a miracle of God, and like even the judge like said it, like you got very lucky today. He had a Greek accent. You got very lucky today. But
What was like the technicality that you got off on or something? Was it just a good lawyer you had?
I don't remember. I did have a lawyer, but I guess like they didn't have. The police officer didn't want to show up because I threatened him because he basically illegally searched me, and I basically said that was an illegal search. And I was gonna even while I was like nodding out because I got arrested. So I was like nodding out like on a stairwell like a retard, like an idiot. My bad.
You're good.
But
You can say retard on here.
all right, let's
That's
go.
fine.
Like a retard. So then they came. They got me to that. Then I beat the case. Yeah, the cop didn't show up because he stuck his hand up my ass illegally.
Yeah.
Illegally searched me. And then I he didn't show up. I was in county jail for like a month.
So he knew he fucked up.
He knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
Knew he fucked up. And then I wound up beating that case. And then I went. You think that would have been my lesson? That was my 5th felony arrest.
Oh shit.
Yeah. I've been to prison twice.
Fuck.
Yeah. That was my 5th one. And if I wouldn't have beat that one, I would have been fucked. So I beat that one. And then you would have thought that would have been enough, but it wasn't. And then I went back out there to be homeless one last month. One last fucking no, it wasn't
So
a month,
you were
it was like
doing
2 weeks.
You were homeless in stints. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was stints.
Okay.
It was stints. But I probably was on the streets for like 4 years.
Fuck.
On and off.
That's a hard life, dude.
Yeah, it's
That's a
not fun.
hard life. And Illinois is a shitty place to be homeless, dude. It's not like California.
No. That's why I said the homeless people here are so nice. It's like, what?
Good weather. There's so many public programs here.
They're living better. They're living just near the equality of the fucking a lower class citizen almost.
For sure, yeah.
Seriously.
I have some homies that are the homeless back in Illinois that are living worse than the homeless guys out here. Like
For
the cheap
sure.
homeless guys.
Like it's fucked up.
The alpha ones on the beach that got their little turf. They're living so good.
No,
dude.
dude, they are. If you don't give a guy money, if you're homeless and you don't give a guy money in Chicago, you might get he might get mad.
Mhm.
You're like, okay, God bless you.
They expect you to not give them money, dude.
Yeah.
They see 100 people that that pass them by, one is going to give $1.
Right.
So they're used to it.
There's a low batting rate. I used to panhandle too. I used to do the same shit.
The Chicago ones press you, dude.
They press
they'll
you.
follow you, dude. They'll
Yeah.
get close and shit. They'll touch your shoulder like, you got $1?
I hate that city so much, bro.
Really?
Hate it,
I miss it, dude.
dude.
I miss it a lot. Why do you hate it?
I probably because I was hanging out on the west and south side, but I'm
That'll
saying,
do it. Yeah.
and downtown. I mean, I wasn't. I guess maybe my memory is somewhat tarnished from my addiction and the choices I made, but
For sure.
it's definitely not a safe city.
For sure. Yeah. There's safe parts. I think if you mind your business,
Safer parts.
it's safe.
You still wouldn't walk around after 10 p.m. there though. Anywhere, I feel like you could.
I mean, you could if you're in fucking Streeterville or some shit,
Yeah.
Lincoln Park and shit.
Lincoln
But-
Park, you do there.
That part of the city is what I miss.
Yeah.
Going to bar hopping there. So before any of your addiction stuff, what was growing up like in Vernon Hills?
Well, I grew up in Gurnee, Illinois.
Oh, okay.
And then by the 4th grade, I went to Woodland, and then I went to Libertyville High School, and I was staying in my mom's house in Green Oaks, which is Libertyville. And then when I was 14, my mom kicked me out at 15 for smoking weed or whatever.
Oh shit.
It wasn't even smoking weed. No, my timeline's off. I wasn't even smoking weed. I was just a fucked up kid.
Uh-huh.
I would do fucked up shit.
Like what kind of?
Like I would take shit. I would take a shit on the carpet, cover it with a hat. I would spray paint shit. I would paint shit.
How early did you start doing that kind of stuff?
12 years old. I would
Really?
order Girls Gone Wild in my house. I thought it was so funny. I'm 11 years old doing this as well.
Just terrorizing the whole
Terrorizing my whole family.
Do you have siblings?
Yeah, I'm the oldest of 4 kids.
Oh, and you were terrorizing them too.
Horribly. Especially my brother. My brother wanted to be like a bodybuilder later in life. And I know it was because of me. He's like,
He just wanted to beat your ass.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, I gotta
Basically,
get
I know he'll never admit it, but I know that's why.
Oh, fuck. So before you started really tearing it up at 11 or 12, you were a good kid before then? 5, 6 years old?
Yeah.
You were a good little kid,
I guess. guess by default, my spawn was okay.
Bro, I knew some little Satan spawns dude,
Yeah.
back when I was in elementary school. Like I came
No, I wasn't one of those. I became fucked up around like 10.
Okay.
11.
Something switched?
I don't remember. Look, I'm not gonna lie. I'm 35. I don't really remember that much.
You're 35?
Yeah.
You look young, bro.
Really? Oh,
You look mad young.
blessing.
Like, I honestly would guess you're probably like 10 years younger than
That's what I get. That's what I get. 20. I get mid 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm 26, and I'd guess you're like my age, you know?
Helps me blend in.
Yeah, stay low key, stay fresh.
Yeah. Something like that.
So, you start kind of tearing it up at 11 or 12. Getting kicked out at 14 is pretty fucking young, though.
Yeah, no, it was just fucked up because, like, my mom didn't know what to do. Like, no, my parents got divorced when I was 12, so my dad moved out to the townhouse in Vernon Hills.
Okay.
And then I went to live with him around 13 or 14 into a brutal World of Warcraft addiction.
Oh, fuck.
And this is when the game was lit.
What
This is
expansion was
OG.
that?
No, this is Vanilla WoW.
Oh, shit.
This is when the game first came out. And it was
I
like
was
the
too
game.
young for that
Yeah,
shit,
you're too
dude.
young.
I was too young
I'm
for that
telling you
shit.
that this game was fucking 10, 15 years ahead of its time. It's still played to this day. That just tells you. That just tells you.
I played Vanilla Classic
Yeah.
recently.
Imagine playing that in 2004.
Yeah, oh my
3. Dude, you were so
I'm
fucking
jealous.
addicted.
I'm genuinely jealous.
You were in the Ventrilo server. You were
Yep.
fucking
Yeah,
grinding the
it was-
High Warlord. Dude,
It wasn't
no,
even
there's no
Skype
Discord.
yet.
No,
Like, it was fucking
Ventrilo. Yeah.
I don't even think it was TeamSpeak at that point yet. either,
TeamSpeak had just came out.
no. Brand new.
Brand new.
That was the fucking tag. Great shit off, dude. Fucking unbelievable. Damn, so you got hooked on WoW.
Dude, bad.
Real bad.
Or good.
Was that the first thing that you said you got
That was
really
the first
addicted to?
Dude, listen, I'll recreate it. I was in a lazy boy. It was literally like the South Park guys had to get witnesses out there because it's so spot on. I was sleeping in the chair, in the lazy boy chair, with like this, with the laptop on my lap. Like people would have like multiple people on their accounts to like level up level 60 and try to get High Warlord. I got High Warlord by myself, and I was the #1 ranked player on Nathrezine in 2000.
Oh, man.
Oh, fuck.
I beat everyone.
So you were literally in no life.
Oh,
like
dude,
you were.
I fucking basically dropped out of school for a year and a half.
Yeah,
2
that.
years to do that.
I mean, in vanilla, you had to get that kind of shit.
Had to.
Like even the top level raids and shit. For those guys who don't play this game and don't understand, you can't have a job. Like you can't. If you have a job, you
No
suck at the
way.
game.
Dude, I was sleeping 4 hours a day.
Yeah, the
That's it.
game is
I was online 20 hours a day.
hits like crack. So that's where your addictive personality kind of
That
came
maybe
out a
is
little
where
bit.
it started. I never thought about that because, like, I don't know when it's happening and you're that young. You're not really internalizing what's going on.
Yeah. But that sounds like we're kind of.
Yeah, that
Flip,
seems
you're
like
like, oh,
definitely
shit.
like maybe like I realized like I like doing this or something like that.
When'd you get high for the first time?
Dude, I was late 16.
Okay.
And we got it from a Burger King near my townhouse. And I remember like we smoked it out of an apple.
Fire.
I just remember like we were trying to give directions to some guy. We kept saying, "Take a left, take a left." We were just so high, and it was like the funnest time ever.
Dude, the first time getting stoned is something
It's-
else.
you just-
it's something different.
You like almost don't want them to. You don't want to do it because some people can't handle it just sticking with weed. It's a smaller percent. It's a smaller percentage, but
Yep.
But it's just like it is such an experience. It's just like, do you want to not like let someone have that you got because it's that like mythic and epic and shit like that?
So, you got high at 16, got
Lazy,
hooked on
yeah.
World of Warcraft even younger,
Yeah.
and you stopped going to school for, you said, what, like a year and a half?
Yeah,
when you
yeah,
played
yeah.
WoW?
Yeah, then I went back, and then I sound right here. Then I went back, and then I left again, and then I just graduated at like a BD school.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So you still had a diploma.
Yeah, I got the Libertyville High School diploma, but I didn't really finish the last year there.
So then after you finish your high school, what's your plan? Like, what are you thinking you're going to get?
I was
Get cracking.
addicted to heroin by I was 19.
It happened that
Yeah,
fast.
I mean, you could just fucking
Oh, shit. Okay. So,
wow, I was fucked up.
I mean, you got stoned late 16.
By
18?
19, I was a full blown heroin addict.
That's
By
quick,
19,
dude.
yeah.
That's really
I
fast.
tried heroin at late 17, early 18. I think it was like very early 18. Full blown heroin addict by 19.
That's like the fastest I've ever.
I was just
think
speed
heard.
running failure.
Why did it go so quick? Like what?
I
happened?
don't know. I attribute it to I feel like when you're younger, you don't really know but looking back, I can, sort of figure this out. But it was definitely like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I feel like that's a really hard thing for people, especially younger people. Probably more now because you get, like, you can see it more with a follower count next to your name on social media. But there's like, you don't know what you want to do in life. And it was like back in the day, so I graduated in 2008. It was just like you didn't have an option to do YouTube, or you didn't have an option to be an Instagram model, or you couldn't network in Discord. You couldn't. It was a different world. It was a different
still
world.
Go to college.
Yeah, go to college.
You know,
it was go to college.
Mm-hmm. And you didn't do that. It doesn't.
No, fuck no. I tried it for like I got to like through a half a semester.
Oh, so you actually?
I threw on.
You tried it though.
Yeah, that's a very liberal way to put it. Yeah.
I did. I signed up for community college just to get my mom to stop yelling at me. I took 2 classes, and I showed up to each of them. Probably count on my fingers how many times.
Dude, it's hell. This is not for everyone. For sure.
So, after you smoked weed the first time at 16, I mean, how quickly were you smoking weed every day after that?
Basically every day.
And what was the next drug you tried?
Cocaine, drinking beer. I never liked alcohol, even though I know my newer following is gonna be like, well, you drink all the time. I don't. I literally didn't drink till like my 30s, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So I was doing heroin, so I didn't really drink much. And then I started doing cocaine. I started taking pills. I didn't like really either. I liked them, but I could just pick them up and put it down. It wasn't anything.
Yeah.
And then I just tried heroin in the mix of that because I kept saying yes to every drug and walking away fine. So for some reason, my brain assessed that I could do heroin once.
Really?
It assessed wrong, and then it just was fucking, man, it was not good.
I mean, it's so crazy you describe this because, I mean, when I was younger, I was getting fucked up around the same age that you were getting fucked up.
Yeah.
And, for me and my friends, even when we were doing hella blow and eating way too much fucking Molly and, doing ketamine and all that stupid shit, we still, like, always in my head, I would try to limit myself. It sounds like you didn't really do that.
No. I don't know why. I always felt like I was smarter.
Yeah.
I guess. So, like, I just figured I could, like, because with heroin addiction, like, it happens fast, but, like, it's subtle, though. Like, you'll just, like, it'll be maybe, like, an earlier weed kid will, like, they'll smoke weed one time, take a week break, month break. That's how it is. So, heroin, I try it for one day. I wait a month to do it. Wow, I forgot how good because that's what happened. I waited a month. I just didn't want to be a heroin addict because nobody wants to be one. And then after that, you'll wait 2 weeks, and then it's down to 1 week, and then you're doing it twice a week.
Yeah.
And then you're doing it 4 times a week, and then you do
it 5
times a week.
You always break those barriers in your head.
And then one day you just try to stop, and then you wake up with a runny nose, and you realize you're fucking addicted to heroin. It's just fucking all bets are off. And you shoot it. Because I was snorting it at first. So then, you'll shoot it one time, and then it's just fucked.
So when you're snorting it, I'd imagine I've never done heroin. That was on my opiates I never enjoyed. Thank God.
Yeah,
it was always uppers for me, for sure.
I take uppers now legally. Adderall. I don't know why I did the quotes. I legally take it.
What's your prescription? I used to have one.
30 milligrams IR.
Oh, nice,
yeah.
Nice. Those are the biggest ones they make, I think.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah, those are the fat fuckers. How do you feel about the extended?
I don't like them. I think they are good for their own purpose. They're not good for the purpose that I need them to be.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to take a fuckload of Adderall. When I was younger, I had a doctor who gave me the craziest script ever. I was prescribed to take a 30 milligram extended in the morning. Then I got home from school and I took a 20 instant. And then 4 hours later, I was prescribed another 20 instant. So I got 60, 20 instants.
This guy was Walter White, bro. What the fuck?
Bro, I had the craziest script ever in high school.
He was Walter
White.
White.
Cracked out doctor.
Yeah,
what the heck?
Just wanted me cold sweating all day, I guess.
How did you sleep on that dose?
I didn't take it all.
Oh.
I took my morning dose to go to school and stay up because that was that. But the instants I sold to the AP kids and shit,
What?
The really smart kids.
Those kids needed it for finals, dude. They'd hoard that shit.
Holy shit.
Damn, it's interesting to hear that you like Addy though. That's
now I do because I honestly, dude, it's a great drug when used correctly. It just is. I think it's like a miracle drug.
I use it just for its purpose.
Yes. I literally don't believe I would be here today without Adderall.
Really?
I don't think I could have put in the hours that I would have needed to get the clips, to meet the people that I met, to go viral on Fortnite, to gain the following, to grow faster on Twitch at the time. And you guys got to remember too, this is from 2000. This timeline is from about 2008. The the streaming world 2018, actually 17 to I started no 8 yeah late 17 to like 2023 is what I'm talking about. So like the earlier years, it's nothing like how it is now. There was no clip farming, there was no collabs, there was no IRLs. Like you had to play a game.
Yeah, it's completely changed.
Nothing like it used to be. So people don't understand the concept of like it's like. Cause I feel like I wasted a lot of time, and I basically did. I did it for that time, but like if I had if it could have been like if I could have came up in this kind of atmosphere, it would have been way easier.
Dude, I tell people that all the time. People ask me like, how do you make it now? It's so hard. It's like,
You don't.
Fucking 10 years ago was harder.
Yeah.
For sure. I think it's easier
Wait,
now.
you think I think that's actually a pretty interesting take you have. I think it could be. It honestly depends on the content of the creator, I guess. But I'm saying like because you do have more tools, so you technically
From
could.
streaming, I guess totally different.
Yeah,
POV. Yeah.
true. That's a good point. We're talking about
Yeah. I do YouTube primarily. So
I think YouTube is harder than streaming in terms of keeping the views and consistently doing it for years. Where like streaming, people, you don't have to get as many viewers to make a career as you do views on YouTube to make a career. Is what I feel like.
I feel like it's the opposite. That's interesting.
Well, it also depends on now. Well, now there's Kick and there's others. So there's other ways. Yeah, so that's a good point. That's actually a good take. I never thought about that. I guess it can go like either way. Obviously, if you're gonna make it right now, you're gonna have to be fucking good. Yeah, you're gonna be doing something that I'm gonna want to watch, or it's gonna be something that you're good.
Yeah. When I think of streaming, it's like, bro, maintaining a lot of viewers is fucking hard.
Yeah, a lot.
Because
Yeah,
you don't get that passive, like, on YouTube, I can take a few days off and go do something, and my other videos are going to get me new viewers. On streaming, it's like, bro, if you're not live, how do you get new viewers?
That's the harder. It's harder in terms of that, where you have to be live. Now in 2025, you don't have to be live as much because of the integration of TikTok and YouTube
Fucking
and
clip farming, man.
clip farming and collabs. Because once again, you got to remember, it used to only be games. Like even if you remember like the Fortnite Ninja era.
I remember when it was called Justin TV still.
Yeah, so yeah, that was even before me.
Yeah, I remember. I didn't use it yet, but I remember like I was like fucking 13, 14, and Twitch was like brand new.
Yeah.
Like, that was the thing. But yeah, I didn't stream or anything. I was like scared to stream.
Yeah. Looking back on it, I was putting a lot of hours into basically like if I didn't have to do that today, I wouldn't have.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, fuck, dude. It's always like, it's always easier to look back and be like, damn, I should have done this. But I mean, obviously you did something right. You know?
Yeah, I mean, when I first started streaming, I just wanted to be a Halo 5 pro. That was my goal.
Yeah.
It wasn't even to be a streamer.
Halo 5 specifically?
Literally Halo 5. I was a Halo guy. That's what I started. I streamed Halo for like the first 2 years of my life.
What's your favorite Halo?
I would say Halo 5 was my favorite.
Really?
I liked it better than Halo.
Dude, I think you're the first guy on Earth.
Yeah, I am the
Ain't
first
that,
guy.
like,
It is.
the big Halo guy over here. too.
Obviously, I grew up playing Halo 2 and Halo 3. I would fucking stand by Halo 2.
I love Halo 3, man. Like,
Yeah,
it's so
I mean,
good.
no, I literally had thousands of hours in those games. I'm saying Halo 5 because to me, I like the faster Halo. I am a little biased where it helped me like get my foot in the door. I met a lot of great people from the Halo 5 community that helped me get to where I'm at today. You know what I'm saying? So I always remember them, and I wish Halo could have, the people that were running the game, it could have been better than it is now. I don't.
Yeah, Halo is like a dead franchise now, right? Like
It's a disaster, dude.
Is there even a new Halo game on the way anytime?
I think so, dude. I think some like woke person, like woke lady.
Oh shit!
I don't know. Maybe should I not say that? I don't know. She's like.
No, you could say that, dude. I mean, no one here gives a fuck, dude.
Right.
This is really a very.
No, I'm
loose
just saying,
show.
like, dude, I'm not happy with it, bro. Like, I'm not happy with.
So
where
what you
I'm
think
at.
the next Master Chief's
Because
gonna
I
be
put
like
a lot of time.
lesbian?
I would have been bigger than I am now if the game would have been more successful. I would have had an easier transition into Fortnite.
That makes sense.
I was going from 80 viewers to 22 viewers, then slowly back up to 66 viewers, 60 viewers.
Dude, imagine if streaming was around peak Halo 3 days.
That would have been lit.
Fucking. Oh my god.
I mean, that's kind of what that's kind of what grew my following when I first started. I thought people were watching me because I was good, and I was really good at Halo. At the end, I was pro level for sure. You could ask like Shots, you could ask like Frosty and all that.
Really?
He'll tell you I was at the end. But like when I first started, I was dog shit. It had been a decade since I played games, so I was assuming that I was just like better than I thought. But it was because I have fucking anger problems. Dude, I was saying fucked up shit to like 20 viewers, and I didn't know. I
That's
couldn't say
crazy,
some things.
man.
I don't know how I never got banned, but I was saying like shit I could never say.
The game really brings it out sometimes.
Dude, yeah, they were watching because I was freaking out. I was just like, I brought the 2008, 2004 vibes.
When I used to play COD a lot,
That's
if they
what I
ever
was
pulled
doing.
out my old COD chat logs, I'm gone.
That's
Dude,
what
this whole
they-
thing is shut down.
Yeah.
I'm fucking out of here, dude.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I sent some shit that if that got brought back today, it would be fucked on those old Twitch clips.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, that's just how it was back
I mean, it was
then.
8 years ago. I don't know.
I think things were different. I mean, there's a
They
lot of
were.
stuff that, like, I think even I probably said, 8 years ago that pull that up today, dude, I'm going to have to post an apology,
Right.
for sure. So kind of bringing it back a little bit to your heroin addiction,
Yeah.
because we kind of skipped ahead a little bit. How long did that last after you started, really getting hooked on it and snorting it?
9 years.
Oh my God. And how did it progress from just snorting it to now you're shooting up?
Basically, what it's sort of the tolerance thing that what happens, and then like you're gonna be around other heroin addicts that are shooting it, and I would say 9 out of 10 people, not everyone will, but I would say 9 out of 10, they eventually just give in one day, and you'll just wind up shooting it, and then it's just you're fucked.
That's what happened to you?
Yeah.
You just gave in?
Yeah, it was like I remember I was in a Subway parking lot when I did it too. I remember the exact moment. It was yesterday. It's fucked up.
Tell me that story.
I feel like I don't want to like have anyone like feel like they want to do it, but like yeah, I remember like they waste heroin because you have to buy or steal these little candle holders, and then you take the little remainder wax out and do these little thin things, and you cook it like that, and then he sucked it up, and then he tied me off with the seatbelt, and then he shot me up with it. And I was like, fuck.
With the seatbelt is fucking. That's hardcore, dude. That's fucked. Needles always scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, they scare me to this day. I don't like them.
I should have swallowed your fear that day.
I would like find ways to lie to my dad about getting money, but like that just wouldn't last, or I wouldn't get enough, or I would want more, or there'd be some days where I'd get dope sick and he just wasn't gonna give me money. So I like had to figure it out. This is before like the criminal element was brought into it.
Yeah, you were still asking your parents for money, trying to just get little hustles and
It
shit.
gets way worse.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, early on when you're addicted and you're just trying to get money, it's just little shit.
It's little shit, and like the money goes farther because your tolerance isn't as bad, and it's more like you're kind of on an adventure at first.
Yeah.
And a tolerable adventure that involves you getting high and feeling good all the time.
It's the most dangerous era of addiction too, when it still feels
Right.
exciting and like adventure.
Fresh.
Because you're not quitting anytime soon.
No, there's no consequences
You're
yet.
locked in.
You know it's bad, but that's kind of the appeal, I guess. Maybe it sounds kind of corny and gay.
No,
but,
for sure. I mean, I think the same thing as weed. Like, dude, smoking weed was definitely cooler before you could go to the dispo and get it.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
I think
Same
there's
way with
probably
drugs.
people that, I don't know if there's less people that smoke weed now, but yeah, for me, like, it's definitely not. Like, the whole reason, like, weed was cool back in the day is because it was illegal.
Yeah, 100%.
I have 2 weed convictions in Illinois. Illinois is a legal state.
Fuck.
Yeah.
What happened with those?
This is
convictions?
2007. These are before my felonies. 2000. First one was we smoked weed with 2 of my buddies. One who actually died from heroin.
Fuck, R.I.P.
Yeah, it was my boy Uzi. He's gone, but R.I.P. My other boy Brian. He's actually doing pretty good. He never did heroin though. But anyways, we're smoking weed in the parking lot, and we just fell asleep in the car. And the police came. That was my first arrest. It was literally like down the street from my house. Like it was like a 30-second walk. We could have just sat on my driveway. We were stupid.
Fuck. And they'd actually arrest you for that back then.
Yeah,
They'd fully...
like this particular arrest, we didn't actually go into cuffs, but they'll take your picture and they just process us right there.
Yeah.
It's 2007.
Yeah, because I got arrested in well, I didn't get arrested. I got ticketed for weed shit, and Aurora, Wheaton, I got a ticket, and I had they take like a half ounce off me, and it was just a ticket.
Yeah.
So it's crazy that they'd really cuff you and fucking take you to jail for that shit.
You're going to jail.
Like they're treating that the same way as a bag of blood.
Yeah, my second arrest was a bong and a weed bag, and they straight up cuffed me, took me to the police station.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
Got a mugshot and everything for a bag of weed, dude.
Illinois is a
Crazy, man.
totally legal state now.
Yeah, I mean, thank God times have changed.
Yeah.
Thank God times have changed. But dude, it's unbelievable hearing that really probably fucked you over for the future.
It did.
That's what kind of crime is
They
that?
kind of just led me into also this is also after reflecting on this after years, but it probably like subconsciously play into like, all right, fuck it, I'm already in this circle, like, let's get it.
So with the weed arrests, obviously those were shitty. Those fucked you up. Fast forward to when you're doing heroin, were you starting to get arrested for that too?
His first arrest was just, I remember the date, December 4th, 2009.
Oh no.
Yeah, and my boy, this is the kid, it was the same kid, Uzi, he overdosed in my garage. I fucking hid the rest of the heroin that we had or so I thought was the rest of it, in a Halo helmet, a Master Chief. Do you remember the limited edition Master Chief helmet edition?
I have
Halo?
one in my fucking
you ever had to like take it up and put it down, the little area there? That's where I put it in.
Oh fuck.
And they didn't find that, but the problem was when I called 911, there was someone in his pack of cigarettes, but it was on the garage floor, my garage floor.
So you're fucked.
So I'm fucked. That was my first case. That was a felony class 4 possession in Lake County, Illinois.
And that must have been before they implemented that.
That passed in 2011. If you call 911, the Limited Immunity Act or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's like you're allowed, if someone's ODing, you can call 911.
That passed 2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember. Because that's fucked.
Right
they would actually just take you.
I was a badass too early, bro. It worked against
2 years
me,
too early, man.
2 years too early.
2011, you would have been okay.
Like, God damn.
So how is the heroin arrest different from the weed arrest?
Well, that was a felony. That one, you like the misdemeanor one, you walk out of the courtroom, or not courtroom, the police station right there. This one, you get booked into the Lake County Jail. You got to see a bond judge. It's more of a real experience of the criminal justice system.
Yeah, you're really getting processed now.
Now you're in jail. And then fucking this is my third case. And every one of my other cases besides the last one, all had co-defendants. So then my bond was $5,500 to get out, bonded out, went to rehab in Lake Tahoe, Watsonville, Narconon. 10 months.
It was almost. That's fucked. I did 2 months up in Minnesota. Yeah. When I was fucking 15.
Money or something.
Fucking yeah, my dad does, and I had good insurance.
There it is.
So
That's like the best one in the country.
It was actually really fucked up. So my dad, when I got sent to rehab, my dad had promised my mom, I'll help you pay for this. Let's just get him in a rehab closet. You know,
it's not fun.
Let me fucking go home. And after that day, he was very pissed and just refused to pay for any of it.
Yeah.
So my mom, who makes a very modest living, has lived in a condo her whole life, fucking gets hit with the whole bill for that rehab facility.
That was probably like $75,000, $95,000 to $75,000.
I don't know the exact amount. I don't think they ever told me the exact amount, but they would always just say it was a lot of money.
It was close to $6,000.
Yeah, for sure it was. And I was there for 2 months, just under 2 months. It was 7.5 weeks. So,
I mean, dude, unless you're ready, it's just tough.
Yeah. Did rehab work for you?
Fuck.
So you were kind of forced into it.
Yeah, and when you're early 20s and shit, I don't know, man. It's just you're just not ready to deal with a lot of things. I don't know, it's almost like a certain person will become an addict.
Mm-hmm.
It's there are addictive behavior tendencies, but it's that's just how that person kind of is, and I don't know, you gotta navigate. I just wish what I knew now then. I just feel the best way to prevent addiction is you just gotta really just be honest with a person and just be dude, if you decide to do this, don't even try to preach at them. You gotta get them before, dude.
100%.
I feel when if they've been using more than a year, it's just fucked. It's over, basically. Even 6 months, it could be over. You gotta get them before or very early.
There's a small window early on.
Super small window.
Where what you say can actually change anything.
Correct.
And after that, it's totally on them.
And then, unless you catch them when they're 40 and they're 50 and they're finally just dude, anything.
Totally burned. Yeah. So that takes a long time to get to that point,
Many heroin addicts are not making it to that, especially in 2025. And you gotta remember, this is before fentanyl. Fentanyl was just starting to kill people in 2015. That's when I got out.
Yeah.
March 3rd, 2015 is my sobriety day.
Yeah, you, are honestly, in a sense, lucky that you were, in that era and able to do actual heroin and not fucking fent.
Oh, I'd be dead.
Yeah, 100%.
Even I always admitted that I was smarter than all my friends. And I was, I'll be honest, because I would just do a little bit at a time just to test it. and that definitely saved my life for sure in some instances. But in 2000, whatever, the fentanyl shit, you could literally do the same thing or less and just still die.
Yeah.
Especially shooting it. You're literally fucking playing Russian roulette.
It takes
Actually.
one bad dose.
Yeah.
And when you shoot it up, now it's not only do you have to count on the fact that whatever's in your bag is properly dosed and even, but you have to size it right. Like,
Yeah.
if you fuck up and put too much in your syringe, you're just dead.
If you come back from a tolerance break, you take a 3-day break, you do the same dose, you're dead.
Yup.
For sure dead.
Yeah, it's
This is what kills a lot of people.
It's fucked now because now it's beyond even like people who are going and buying coke or like ketamine are getting fucking fent cut in their
Right.
shit. So it's a terrible time to be a drug addict.
It's
right
not a
now.
good time to be a drug addict.
It's a
This is the
horrible
best time
time.
to say no.
100%. That's a great lesson.
Yeah.
This is the best time to say
That
no.
sounds corny, and it's like and some people are maybe in addiction hearing this or contemplating using it.
Probably a
drugs
lot
or-
of our viewers are.
right, and
yeah.
it's like I just want to tell them like it's just not worth it.
100%.
Just like find your passion, pursue that. It's just you're gonna make a decision that you just might not come back from. It's like that's just it.
Yep.
Like, I
Yeah, it
don't
just
know,
takes
like-
one brain dead decision
Like
and you're
that's
fucked.
it.
Yeah.
Like some of the addicts that I've met like had a lot of potential. I've met a lot of
That
people
building
in
right
prison,
straight ahead,
in
Warren
rehab
Wilshire building,
that
I used to
were
work there for
very
like about 4 or 5 years.
Some weren't, but there were some
Back in
were.
the late 80s
You know
and
what I mean?
90s, man.
Like,
Yeah, I think
Warren Wilshire
addiction
building, 624
naturally
South
attracts a
Grand
lot of
Avenue.
really smart people. Too.
Yeah.
Like not obviously, I've also met some of the dumbest motherfuckers I've ever met in my
that's
life.
it's so
dude.
polarizing.
Like
that's
cavemen.
Yeah.
Like, dude,
Like, all
I
right,
don't know how
maybe you
you're.
need to do heroin.
I don't know how
fuck
you're
you.
allowed to drive a car. But then on the flip side, yeah, some real like almost philosophers that just sit there and take acid every day in their bedroom.
No, he's a philosopher.
So when your addiction started getting real bad, you're getting arrested, you're bouncing in and out of homelessness. Obviously, you're not able to ask your dad for money to buy your heroin anymore. So how are you getting this money?
This is where I started selling heroin to break even.
Oh,
and then
shit.
The times I couldn't sell heroin to break even, we started stealing and from cars and other places.
Car hopping's a classic.
Yeah. And then we started not doing cars and doing other places. We were fucked up.
Maybe some places that you can't talk about.
We were not good. I mean, there's
Statute of
probably-
limitations
yeah,
is probably
it's
up,
up.
to be
for
fair.
sure up. This is many. This is 10, 15. This is 15 years ago.
As long as you didn't kill anybody,
No.
we're good.
No, yeah. No way to do that. No, didn't get that bad.
That's a question.
Yeah, I mean, it's the lengths that you'll go to
You'll go
to
to
get
every
high
day. Like,
is
dude,
crazy.
I used to panhandle in front of the Rock and Roll McDonald's in Chicago. That was one of my spots.
Really?
The Western 290.
That's a nice
exit.
McDonald's.
Beautiful McDonald's.
It's a great McDonald's, yeah.
I'd look old women in the eyes and that's how I learned how to cry. I'd fake cry.
Really?
And train myself how to like do it.
So in your opinion, as someone who's been on the other side of it, should I trust a homeless man who has a sign? Like on average? Like should I?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I mean, for me, like when someone walks up to me and if like it happens, like a guy's like, he's like, oh wait, do you want drugs? If he says yes, I'll be more inclined to give him the money. Because I know
I
it's
feel
going
that
to
way
drugs
too,
either way.
honestly.
I mean, maybe you could say that's a bad take, but like, 'cause
No,
I
I
used to
agree.
be an addict. Like, don't fucking lie to me, dude.
I agree with you for sure. Especially like out here, dude, you'll see some of the homeless people and it's like I have 3 kids, just lost my job, and it's some guy who like you look at his arm and it's like, bro, you're shooting crocodile in that bitch.
Yeah.
Like you're not.
There's some sympathy like ways. There's some ways to do it. Depends what you look
100%.
like. I was making $300 a day some days.
Really?
Dude, I was a beast.
Holy fuck!
I was so good.
What was the best spot you ever went to?
Before they banned it, Union Station.
Oh shit!
But they started policing it heavier. They didn't want you to do it there because it was just off-putting.
Do you remember what your like peak day was? Like highest day?
Yeah, I got like $1,000 in one day.
Oh
One
my-
guy gave me 4 or 5 $100 bills.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
You find fucking Warren Buffett, dude.
I
Who
don't know
was
what
it?
happened that day, but and he was like an average-looking guy too. And that's the best part about being homeless. Is almost turned. The best part. I don't know what the fuck I'm saying, but like it almost turned into like a game. Like what? Like my brain would try to like notice behavioral patterns of who's gonna give me money. And honestly, the demographic isn't what I thought it would be. More like rich white people, but it really wasn't. It was a pretty broad
Interesting.
demographic, which I thought was interesting. And like I know some of the people that gave me money weren't super well off because I would
Yep.
see the cars they get in, and I just like, or if they just maybe hid their wealth really well. I don't fucking know. But I mean, like, yeah.
Was there like a certain type of person that you just knew, like, oh, they're going to be more inclined to help me? Like
Middle-aged, older white women.
Ooh, the wine moms.
Correct. But
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to bring up the racial component, but like,
No, that's
you-
okay. I mean,
if you were a Hispanic or an African American guy, it's harder to convince a white female to.
for sure.
For sure.
That's just how society
Just how it is.
100%.
But on the flip side, black women were very receptive to me.
Really?
Yeah.
They love some white chocolate.
I guess that's it was an interlude to the prelude to the prequel, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, black women are just nice, I think. for
Yeah,
the most
I mean,
part. like that.
like, if you
get that
present-
nice black auntie energy,
Yeah.
like that's a very nice woman.
It was
She's gonna give you a
heartwarming.
10.
Sometimes they'd like ask you what you're doing, and I'll be like, sometimes I try to spin it like, dude, my car died.
Mm-hmm.
Like there'd be like, I would literally like change my like. Sometimes I change like whatever shirts I had. I had like 4 shirts, but I would like change them and like change the story, and then come
shit.
right back, like wear a hat or glasses or something like that. And just sit because the area was so good, like where I was at. The train station, fucking the 290 expressways or the Eden Expressway by Jefferson Park.
Nice.
In the Cicero 6 Corners, and I was staying at a hotel there.
Ooh.
Part, yeah, I was
Okay.
in that bitch. That's when it was rough, but
And you were making enough to live out of the hotel too.
yeah, I was selling heroin.
Oh fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
I don't know how I never got caught in Chicago selling heroin.
Yeah, I mean they
I got
take that pretty
crazy.
seriously,
Well,
you can't
actually,
get away with
believe it
selling
or-
weed. but-
Honestly, in Chicago, they actually don't.
really?
Even back then, they didn't. Oh no, under a gram of heroin, if you get arrested for under a gram of heroin, it gets thrown out no probable cause due to weight.
So I'm not familiar with heroin at all, really. I have a couple friends who did it, and 2 of the 3 are dead by now.
Yeah.
What is like a gram of heroin? How much is that?
In 2000, I don't know what it would be in 2025.
Well, not price wise, but I mean, like, if I go buy a gram of blow, that's gone in like before the night's up.
Oh,
How long is a gram of heroin lasting?
you've never done it before?
I've literally never done heroin.
It could last you a month.
For you, then, let's say like let's say
If
you're
we're
homeless
like-
in
if we
Chicago,
got-
you went and got a gram bag. How long is that?
A
kicking?
day or less.
Oh wow. Okay.
Oh yeah, I was shooting up $200 a day of heroin.
Holy fuck.
Yeah, you want to see my scars? That's it, my bad. You want to see my scars?
Yeah. Fuck. I mean, shit, dude. Let's. Oh my god. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, it was fucked up.
You show those to the camera right there.
Oh
Or is that one? Oh yeah, this one's good actually.
Dude,
yeah.
check out my tag marks, Mom.
Oh wow.
Remember, this is scary. This is like
This is
one of those
yep.
scared. Oh shit, my bad.
Oh,
It's
you're
one
good,
of those
dude.
scare straight
It's
tactics.
a fake wall, anyways. It's like a piece of plywood.
Looks real.
Get over it. It does kind of. We've had these for a long time, dude. There's some lore behind these fucking walls.
Look nice.
I drove them here in a U-Haul, dude. They were bouncing around and shit. It's fucked up. So you're making a lot of money a day at Union Station, kind of,
It's
hustling.
going to like I would literally take that money. It depends. Look, $300 a day is aggressive.
Yep.
Let's say it was an average around 100, 150.
Mhm.
But there were like some days a week where I would get $300 a day. So like if I got if I made $120 a day, $100 going to heroin, I'll buy probably a dime of crack, and then I'll spend the rest on food. I'll eat
Got a
once
couple
day.
McChickens up in there.
Literally, that's all I would get.
Yup. Fucking.
But I could get a lot of being homeless. You can get food for free easily. Now that you can get for
Ooh,
free.
what places hook you up?
Anywhere. No, it's not the staff. It's like the people there. If you want to like ask someone for food, they'll do it. Probably just to get out of the way. But like people are very inclined to give you food if.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I guess the guilt's kind of taken out
I
of
literally
it
did
of,
a
like-
troll stream where I was acting like I was homeless, and within 2 minutes I had 2 seconds. Within literally like 10 seconds of sitting down, some guy. This stream happened like a week ago.
Okay.
And like I put my phone down, and like some couple dropped me off food.
Where was
I
this?
felt
Like,
bad.
what was
This is Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Which is a totally beautiful city. That's not. Chicago's rough, bro.
Yeah, Chicago is there's like great parts of it, but most of it is kind of grimy for sure.
Even the great parts, the bad people from the bad parts fuck up the good parts. The blue line and the red line and the green line, they're very effective, but it almost works against the city because for $1.50 you can go wherever you want.
Yeah, second best public transit behind New York.
100%.
For sure.
It's lethal.
It is, yeah. I don't ride the red line, for sure.
No.
I don't go on the red line.
I was on the red line at the end.
I'll take green and blue, dude. Red, I'm good.
You stay in the green and blue long enough, you're not going anywhere fun.
True. Yeah, but coming from Aurora, I can.
Oh yeah, you can duck it.
I'm good. I can duck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's funny we grew up so close together.
Yeah,
I
dude,
wonder if we ever like walked by. No, you were 10
Potentially.
years younger than me, so the timeline might have been the activity differential.
how long were you in Illinois for before you left?
I left. Oh yeah, I was in Libertyville. 2022.
I moved out of Illinois a year after that, so I mean, very well could
We
have.
could have.
Very well could have.
Could have.
I mean, what like, let's say you're downtown Chicago. Where are you kicking it average day?
I don't even know anymore. Oh, you said when I'm homeless?
Yeah, like when you were homeless.
Oh,
like
my
what
bad.
part
Sorry.
of the city were you?
Stupid. Oh, I was on the west side of Chicago.
Okay.
Pulaski and Lexington, Cicero.
Yeah, that's not where I was going in high school to
hell
like hang
no.
out with my friends.
No, dude, I was literally hanging. The gangbangers love me over there, bro.
I would go to sometimes I go up to that area just to buy Molly.
The gang members love me there. Oh yeah, Molly over there.
There's this guy named Sparky who I used to go and get Molly from.
Is that Rogers Park?
No, Sparky was in Oak Park actually.
Oak Park. Oh yeah, it's in between Maywood.
Yeah, he was in Oak Park.
That's right on the border, right on the other side of Austin.
Fucking, it was great Molly. I miss it.
Chicago's got very good drugs.
Incredible drugs, man.
I mean,
It's
maybe it has to because of the geographical location.
very central. You know, it's a great
Facility.
distribution point. You
Yes.
can get the drugs out
Get 'em out,
anywhere
get 'em
from
in,
Chicago.
baby.
So you're panhandling. You're spending $100 out
I'm
of your
selling drugs
$120.
too, though. You gotta remember, I'm selling drugs, so I'm
You're
doing
hustling hard.
transactions constantly throughout the day.
And while you're doing all this,
I do get robbed or stabbed at any point. I don't know how I never did. Maybe because I was doing them in broad daylight.
you never got robbed selling,
I got fake money a few times.
but you never got like physically, like violently robbed.
No, I have.
Oh, shit.
At gunpoint.
What happened there?
We thought we were going to a pass out, and basically it was a stray group of people that were just trying to rob the drug addicts. And they just went down. They made us take our shoes and socks off,
Oh my
so
god.
we couldn't go anywhere that fast or whatever. So we
They
had to
stripped you
slowly,
down and
we had to
fucking-
slowly disperse. And we were all at ski masks on. They were like, empty your pockets.
That's
They got
fucked
my
up.
cell phone. Like I had like $40. I was like, dude, please, I'm sick.
And they didn't give a fuck.
Fuck no.
Damn. That's tragic.
Yeah, that wasn't the last time that happened, dude. Honestly, but the police were you'd rather deal with the gangs than the police.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're white, you're just walking around like the sorest thumb ever. Like you literally have a sign on your back that's saying "Arrest me." The only thing around there is the gateway rehab. You have to say you're like going to visit someone there, or going to see some, because there's literally no human reason why you're there. Why are you here?
Yeah.
No reason to be there. There's nothing there.
Yeah, Gateway almost like infects the area around.
It makes it worse, dude.
It for sure lowers the property value.
Like you almost can't have a rehab in a lower socioeconomic neighborhood like that because it makes the worst worse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you got to put it in a nice area where like
or
it's
like a middle class.
there's a disconnect
yeah.
or something. You know, I feel like that's where all the best rehabs are. You look and they're in like the nice part of town.
I mean, dude, like I still want to move to Lake Tahoe to this day. It's still like,
it's beautiful there. I've heard.
man, every season's just perfect, dude.
Really,
You don't get too much in one season.
I gotta get up there at some point.
It's super fucking retardedly expensive though. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why I'm surprised. I can't live here.
Dude,
I could, but I mean,
you're telling me, man. I was in I mean, what's Austin like? Like when you-
awesome.
What's
So
the,
cheap.
Like, for example, like rent. Let's say I want a fucking apartment. What's like your average?
3 bedroom,
2 bed. Let's say
$1,000,
$1,000 a month.
1,500 or less,
$1,500 a month for a
2K
2
or less,
Are we talking like a small
like 2K
two-bed?
or less,
Like a,
like 2K or less, something decent, 100%.
dude, fuck,
Dude, this is like you're on steroids here.
bro. I'm paying 3 for a shoebox 2-bed right
Dude,
now.
right? Yeah,
And
you could be in
I'm
luxury in Austin.
I drive over an hour to get here.
Yeah, you
like-
be in luxury, but you're sacrificing that. You're close to the connections. You're close.
Then you gotta be here for a few years, and
Yeah.
then soak it in, and then get the
Yeah,
fuck out.
that's what I
you know?
did. I lived here already for 2 years.
Oh yeah, so you did your time. Yeah, I'm doing the
Yeah.
same shit, dude. I'm doing my like sentence, my LA
yeah,
sentence.
but
and
it's
then I'm
like you're
fucking-
not like punishing your body and like putting yourself in like the dumbest situations. Like we were going to Figueroa streaming here. We were
Yeah, I'm not hanging out
doing
with
drugs, like not drug. I mean, fucking weed. Yeah, sure. Drinking. Like we were drug addicts.
Yep.
High risk situation, party streams, shit like that. So like, I served my LA time, and I still like come back here, but just in therapeutic
in LA,
doses.
It's a fun place,
It's
you know,
too fun.
in certain ways, but
It's the funnest.
it's also a lot.
Yeah.
You know, I think it gets kind of old sometimes. You know,
Oh yeah, it does.
like especially I don't know about you, but like the weather here, I actually don't fuck with it.
Really, why it's just too consistent.
It's too boring, dude. Every fucking day I wake up and it's like 70, and I know, dude. All the commentators fuck you, Goblin. Like, how dare you complain about that? But I love the snow, dude. I like the rain. Like,
Dude.
I want that
I
shit.
mean, maybe in dose. I just remember right before I left Chicago, it was like May of 22, and I guess it was like one of the colder days in that history of that day. But it was like I got my Uber Eats order, and I had like shorts on, and god damn it, the coldest draft hit me, man. I'm like, I'm so fucking tired of this shit, man. It's cold all the
It's
time.
that lakefront air, dude. It's just
I'm just like, bro, we're just cold. I feel like an old man. Like, I'm fucking tired of being fucking cold, man.
you had to get away from that shit.
Had to get away from that shit.
So, when did you end up getting sober? How'd that happen?
So, I got arrested on that one case. Do you want to speed past my other arrests, or do you want to like?
No, I mean, dude, fill me in. But like,
Okay.
I'm trying to piece the timeline together. There's
My bad.
There's a lot here.
going on.
There's a lot
I've
here.
lived a very
So hold on, let me just run through my understanding of it, and then correct me if I'm wrong.
Do you?
So, you started getting high around like 16. The heroin came like 2 years later, around that.
Around that.
9 years of just heroin addiction that progressively got worse.
Correct.
So, at the end of that 9 years, you've been arrested how many times?
5 times.
Yeah, run me through them.
5, 7 times in total. 2 misdemeanor weeds.
The 2 misdemeanor weeds, then we heard about the first
First
heroin
one was
arrest.
Uzi overdose in the garage.
Yes.
Second
Yeah.
one is actually a movie scene.
Okay.
Okay, so this happened.
I can tell it's
This happened September 18th, 2011.
Okay.
I was dating a girl named Miranda.
You remember all the dates, dude.
I remember them, and we were. For some reason, I can't really track this one on Google. The other arrests you can just see. This one, I don't know why I can't. So I wound up. You know, part of the problem of heroin addiction is your stomach gets constipated. It's fucked up. So I literally my stomach was fucked up. It's the worst pain ever. I guess I didn't go to the bathroom enough. So I went to a hospital, and my girlfriend went with me, and I gave her money to go get heroin. Now it was a heroin relationship. It was fucked up. We went there, she went to the west side. She came back, and all the capsules were shorted.
Oh no.
So that we started arguing. I was like, "Where's the fucking rest of it?" Like freaking the fuck out, like looking at give me the rest of it. So the nurse walked in, and she heard it. She was happy by the door, of course, because I have no fucking luck. And she's like, "You guys okay in there?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're okay." So then I go into the bathroom, and I'm wearing a nightgown, so I don't have a belt or anything to tie off with. And I tied off once with the little white cord, the white thing that ties the side.
Oh yeah, almost like a belt.
Yeah. But it didn't work, so it was hard to do. So I did it, and then I was like, this didn't work. So then, like an idiot, I go to the blood pressure machine.
Oh my god.
I put that on my arm, and then I go to do it, and then the nurse walks in again, and I freak out, and I throw the needle on the ground. I throw the needle on the ground, and then she leaves. And I didn't know this, but Miranda walks out and see what's going on. She said, "They're calling the police." So I take the heroin, and I just start walking out of the hospital with it. And let me get.
Hold on, guys. Let me see what's going on here, man. Let me see. JJ, is that there?
Calls may be monitored and recorded by DoorDash and service providers for quality.
To get through, please press 6.
Yeah, hi. This is DoorDash. I have your food here and the stuff that you ordered from CVS. I'm on the Figueroa side. Are you outside?
I'm just in the lobby right now.
Okay. Do you want me to meet you on the Figueroa side or the Flower side? Which is convenient?
Okay, let me see where I am. Second here.
Yeah, actually, the Figueroa side. I think it's on the on the 3rd floor or something, or the 2nd floor. You have to take the escalators up. It's where the convention rooms are at. Or is it easier for you to meet you on Flower?
Actually, I'm on the lobby here, right by the escalators, by the front desk.
Okay.
Hotel registration. Flower Street?
Fla-
Or
Okay, let me
you
swing.
want the front desk here?
Yeah, let me swing around. Let me swing around Flower Street because the thing is that they put these little metal rods here, so you can't really literally pull in. I don't know when they did that.
Okay. Oh, really? Okay. Tell me where you're at, then maybe I come out your way.
No, I can go around. I can go around to the Flower side. I don't know why they did that.
Okay.
They used to allow cars to pull in there, and because it's like 3 items. That's why. There's a bag and the.
Okay.
Let me see here. Let me go around to the Flower side. I don't know how it is on the Flower side. Let me see. Yeah, the Flower side's. I think it's more of the street level, or the same level as the lobby.
What do I get for my DoorDash order? Oh, okay, he's not here yet. He said you're on the Flower Street side?
Yeah, I'm gonna pull around on Flower Street. Is that where they normally drop it off?
That's right. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me see if I can find you here.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for
Heading
the.
outside.
Okay, I'm just waiting for the light to turn so I can turn around the corner.
Okay.
Okay.
What color should be? What am I looking for?
I have a gray Prius. Yeah, I'm coming up right now.
Okay, hold on.
Let's see here. Yeah, I just pulled right in front here. There's a couple ladies that are walking by.
Okay, I see Flower Street. I think I see you. Okay.
I put my flashers on.
Yeah, I see you.
Okay, great. Thank you. All right. Okay, nice. Nice. Okay, yeah, because now I know it's easier to deliver on this side. Yeah, because if you ever go up to the Figueroa side, they have these bars that are. But we used to be able to pull in. They blocked it off. It was All right, got that guy's order dropped off, which is good. It actually is fun that it's better that he came out on the Flower side.
Let me get the details of this correctly here. So I'm trying to walk out of the hospital because they have the syringe.
That was 11 days ago, huh?
I got swatted at the Trump rally. It was like, you go. And then so then that happened. Because I was like running through the parking lot trying to find her car in this nightgown. There was like police trying to find me, so it was like fucking like that's wild to have happen.
Yeah, you're doing like a Splinter Cell mission,
Yeah.
damn near, sneaking
Basically.
a lot for your fucking bag.
Yeah. So then the next day they took me into the police station and I fucking started going through like the worst heroin withdrawal ever, dude. And they gave me a $50,000 bond, which was $5,000 to get out. Oh, but I got out the next day, and this was like, yeah.
How'd you bond out?
My dad bonded me out.
W dad.
And then you would have thought anything would have happened, but like, no, yeah. Then they made me do like this. So then I went to rehab. I haven't talked about this in a line like this in a minute. I didn't even go into detail like this on No Jumpers. So then after this, I went into a rehab for like 30 days. I'm trying to remember the exact one. I think it might have been in Antioch. I don't remember. I'd have to really do some digging to find out.
It's rehab either way.
It's rehab. I was there 30 days, and then, I mean, after that, dude, it was fucking another 2 years of just straight misery. It just escalated so fast. I mean, we were committing crimes. I started selling drugs in the suburbs in Lake County. I started getting brazen with it. So
That's how you make the money.
That's how you make the
That's
money.
how you make the money.
But, I mean, this is when I still had a car, too. So I still had a car.
Oh.
I still had a car.
So you weren't like
My dad bought me a car.
sleep on the bench homeless.
Not yet.
Or- okay.
Not yet. That did end up happening, but not at this point. And then, so then I was just doing my thing, being homeless, cycling through the addiction. And then November 26, 2012, this is when I started meeting guys in Chicago. We started stealing around the suburbs of Chicago. I don't know what, because in Chicago, everything's behind glass. So you can't steal from Walgreens as effective.
Yep.
So we went to this Walgreens and we stole shower gel. It was the Bannockburn one. It was by Deerfield High School.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Why shower gel though? Why is
Because
that
you can sell it to the Indian stores. They were taking because certain stores need certain items, and on that day, he was like a fence. The guy's name was Ali and Stan, and we stole Axe shower gel. But there was, of course, a cop and a fucking marked Dodge Charger in the parking lot that I don't know how the fuck we didn't see. And it's funny, I actually wound up helping the theft in that Walmart or that Walgreens. But that's the misdemeanor theft got dropped. But anyways, we pulled out, we got pulled over, dude. They watched the whole thing.
Oh, so they like busted you outside of the store.
Yeah, they waited for us to get right in front of Deerfield High School.
That's crazy.
This is like in the middle of the day.
Damn.
That's
So
fucked
like
that
there
they
was
were-
like kids outside. There was like for some reason it was like the day after Thanksgiving. It was like around Thanksgiving, but there were still people in the high school for
How
some
much
reason.
shower gel did you take?
Like a lot.
Oh,
Like 20 or 30 bottles, like 30
Fucking
bottles.
That's crazy,
enough to
man.
Falling out of Walgreens,
Yeah.
clearly.
That's crazy.
I remember, dude, you should have gone to the suburbs from the Walgreens Lakes.
We did. This was Bannockburn.
Fucking Naperville is where you should have gone.
We were crushing New Bay. Well, they were getting hit so hard that they started having undercover cops there, and like because DuPage County geographically is
Yep.
right by the west side.
There's a Walgreens on the intersection of 87th and 59. I think it was, 87th and 59. It's next to a pizza place. And on that intersection, that Walgreens had Hennessy with no alarm on it.
Yeah, that was another big one.
Fuck it, that was huge.
Some drug
dude.
dealers, sometimes they would let you, if you could get a bottle, they would just straight up trade you.
Yeah.
That'd be the only thing that they would want.
You ever steal from Jewel Osco?
Food.
Really?
It wasn't
You never
enough.
hit their alcohol section?
No, there were too much security there. Oh, the suburb. Even like in all the cities, like if there was a Jewel, it was pretty well. It wasn't. You wouldn't steal from a Jewel. You'd rather go somewhere else.
Dude, we ran the fucking suburb Jewels dry.
Really?
Yeah.
We did Jewel here and there, but we would just prefer like Walmart, Costco, Aldi's, lower end ones like that.
I'd literally go in with a cart and we'd fill the whole cart up
Can
with
I help
like
you?
we'd go to the hot food section. And get
Yeah,
like,
let's see
pre-made,
here.
Like, chicken wings and shit.
Can I get
We'd put
the,
snacks, bro. We get like fucking paper
you guys have
plates and
anything
shit,
on
fill the whole
special
cart up,
right now?
Go to the liquor section, get like a bottle of Smirnoff, all the
deal
shit that didn't have
and a
alarms.
2 for 8.
And then
You have a what?
kinda
What is
try to
it
make
for the
look
first
like
one?
We were about to
2
pay
for
and
6
then
and a
walk
2
out.
for 8.
Yeah.
And,
2 for
like,
6
they only
is
had a
what?
cart at one entrance because they were cheaping out.
And he
Sorry?
said,
So
what is
Jewel
2
Osco
for
is-
6?
It's crazy
What
to
kind of
hear
sandwich?
how tight they had it unlock in the city, though.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the cities were not in.
What kind of
Difference
hamburger?
between a medium drink, a medium fries,
Uh huh.
AP chicken fries, a bacon cheeseburger, original chicken sandwich, and a Whopper Jr.
Okay, can I get a bacon cheeseburger then? That one, the 2 for 6,
Bacon cheeseburger and what else?
and medium fries.
Okay,
And then does it come with a drink too?
that's the 3 for 8.
Oh, that's the what? I'm sorry.
That's the 3 for 8.
Oh, the 3 for 8. Oh no, I'll just have the just that then.
You want to cancel it?
No, I'll keep it. I'll have the bacon cheeseburger and the medium fries.
Okay,
Yeah, and that'll be it.
that was it.
Yep.
$6.59.
Okay, thank you. $6.59. All right. $6.59. Here's $7. Thank you, sir. Great. Thank you very much.
Everything was locked up. You just couldn't get anything. It wasn't worth it.
And they actually enforce it there too, dude. I mean, every time that
The city that you can get away with a lot of theft. The suburbs, they'll enforce it. Like, you're going to jail.
it's just so crazy.
But
I
that's-
guess I just got lucky, dude.
The serious charge I had was a drug DUI that I still to this day have on my record when I was dope sick. But because of the weed, what I smelled, for whatever reason, we pled to the drug DUI. Because remember, I'm on bond, on probation.
Yep.
In the possession charge, there was actually no drugs. It was the residue on the cooker. That's all it takes. So in the third case, there was no drugs. The first case was like a capsule or two that wasn't mine. The second case was a syringe because they didn't find the other drugs. And I
Yeah,
actually wanted to go
659
back to the
is for
hospital
a
day or two later to try
bacon
and find it, but of course there was a
cheeseburger
storm. I guess
and
I didn't know.
medium
It rained,
fries.
and I couldn't find it. It was raining. It didn't matter. But
I'm listening to
and the third
Action
one was
Man being
residue.
interviewed.
So I'm getting arrested for like the absolute dumbest shit ever.
I got this
They're
guy's
not
channel. It's
catching
pretty
all
interesting.
the other
He's talking
crimes
about
that
his
they've been
past.
the entire time.
Yeah, you just keep getting popped by the sounds of it for fucking
Just
residue
like, yeah.
and like a one syringe.
Yeah,
and
I
like
mean,
dumb shit.
it was that sloppy to ride around.
He's got a pretty funny personality.
For sure.
Like,
I saw him in Japan with
that
ice. He was
day,
cracking me
I
up.
didn't have any drugs on me, and that's why we were stealing.
And I also saw him with
It's just so funny to hear you say that shit. 'cause
Lord
it was the same
Hito
way for me. All the
talking
like,
to
really
some
dumb shit I
girls
did.
from
The worst thing I
Figueroa.
ever got arrested for was felony retail theft at Walmart.
So you stole something like over $500?
It was $300 at the time.
Okay.
I had stolen like $800 worth. I used to fucking, you know, the like plastic storage totes that they
Yeah.
have. So the barcode's on the outside. So I did this twice and got away with it. Where I'd take a storage tote and I'd go over to like electronics and I'd take like the clearance fucking DVD bin or like game bin. I'd take all that shit and then I'd go to like fucking disc replay or like GameStop or some shit.
Just straight
Yeah,
up.
and
bacon
just sell,
cheeseburger, medium fries.
I'd bring them like a copy of like the same games to everyone, but not multiple to each. They wouldn't be like, "Why are you selling us 5 sealed copies of Lego?" It's like,
See, that's how we avoided getting caught. That's why I was hanging out with other guys. They knew offense, so they were selling stuff to someone that knew someone. So you just
yeah,
cut out.
I was going to fucking GameStop.
I mean, I'm banned
dude.
from American Pawn forever.
Really?
Yeah.
They caught you selling like stolen shit. Or what happened?
It was stolen jewelry. It was stolen jewelry that I pawned that I didn't know that I legitimately didn't know was stolen. That that someone else gave to me. That he remembers the interaction where
It's
like
crazy, man.
he saw the guy like say it was his.
Oh
So the
man, this
who
guy,
next to me
Action Man. Oh,
said it
man,
was
he did
his,
some
like, it
crazy
was
shit.
registered to him, but it was somehow stolen.
When you're doing
So it
drugs,
was
man.
fucking retarded, as it always is. Or something. Maybe I'm misconstruing
Fucking
this, but it was
retarded.
something stupid, and I'm banned from most pawn shops in the Illinois database forever. Like,
Oh,
there'll be
wow.
something like
How'd they like notify you of the ban? They just like,
I went in there another time and they said you're banned, and they said
that's
you can never
crazy.
come back in here to anyone. We're calling the police.
damn.
Like they said they have it in here where like if they ever register your name, they're just gonna call the police for trespassing. It's like okay,
That's
guess I'll go to the one right next door or something. Like
I
fuck.
feel like you could beat that in court
You
though.
probably
for
could.
surely, yeah. Like,
could, but that's the in the middle of addiction. This is the least of your fucking.
yeah. You're
problems.
not thinking that way. You're just like, shit, dude. They won't give me money anymore.
Right. Yeah, you got way bigger fucking fish. You're dealing with way bigger issues than that.
That's crazy,
So
man.
that's all your arrests, right? I think we covered.
No, the fourth. Okay, so yeah, here we go. So, okay.
Speaking of punch
So
up, there's
this
Casa de
gets
Empeño
worse.
punch up right there.
Somehow. So then I go to
Alright.
rehab.
Oh my God.
I'm on the Cook County house, or no, I gotta get my story right here. The third case, I go to
guy's got a
rehab
brand new
again. I'd have to
Prius.
remember where exactly.
Where you-
I leave the rehab, and then I go to the halfway house.
Okay.
I go to the halfway house. Serenity House in Addison.
I've heard of it.
So I was there. together.
Yeah, if I can get some
So
ketchup, that'd be
I
awesome.
I went to Cordell University for 91 days, or 100.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
That's
All right,
also in
appreciate it.
County. It's all fun.
Good amount of days, dude.
Dude, you know, it's supposed to be like a 60-day program, but because I'm a dipshit, I stayed there almost 4 months. But I wound up liking it. I actually had a lot of people that helped me.
Pretty
I
sketchy
wasn't
area,
done yet,
man.
though,
A
so
lot
it
of
was
drug
actually
addicts.
a very net positive experience. But,
Hell yeah.
so then I
His phone here.
went to the halfway house in Addison, and I was working at Restaurant Depot in Lombard.
Oh, nice.
I was there.
At Lombard.
And,
Man, this guy knows the Chicago
this is
area
gonna
really well.
maybe be shocking, but I actually hated it so much. One day I called my probation officer and I said, dude, I want to violate myself. To this day, I'm actually the only person in the state of Illinois on record that violated his own probation. I
Like intentionally?
Like deliberately, no, because like I was like, I called my probation officer. I was so miserable, and I also had relapsed. So I relapsed, and I was showing up to work blasted. And one day I showed up, and I was like literally like trying to like fucking do like the restaurant depot cashiering is like the most tedious thing ever.
Okay.
You'll get like 128 item orders or more. Like it's restaurants buying your shit. Like
Yeah.
you miss one fork, you're redoing the entire cart.
That sounds horrible.
Maybe we shouldn't do that. You edit that out.
That's okay. No, I think we're good.
Okay. But I'm saying it was so miserable that I literally called my probation officer one day. I said, I want to violate myself. He goes, what? He goes, I don't think you can. He goes, all right. And then he's like, I don't know if you can do that. And then like he put me on hold and like 10 minutes.
You had to go ask somebody.
Literally, he had to ask someone. He's like, yeah, you can do that. You just got to come in and sign your paperwork and we'll take you into custody. So it's coming today. I said, no, I'm coming in on Monday. It was Friday. I'm going on a run.
You're in control now.
I'm in control now, baby. So then I call my ex-girlfriend at the time, Miranda. She picks me up, and then, dude, at the time she had already bought the drugs, and she had a gun on her. So we're riding around a bunch of guns and drugs in Chicago, and then I went to a hotel in Chicago, and then I just fucking shot the most dope ever for 48 hours straight. That would be humanly possible. And then I fucking walked myself into the fucking county jail, the probation office, and they just fucking walked me across the street. Fuck. And I fucking I started serving my time. So then I went into jail. No, I'm getting this timeline incorrect. So I went into Lake County Jail, but just to get processed. So I got sentenced. And what I didn't know is that when I was in rehab, I thought this time, so I served, I'm leaving out one part. The third case, I spent 6 months in county jail before I went to that rehab.
Okay.
So I was in county for 6 months. And I thought that time was going to count towards my sentence. But when you catch a case on probation or on bond, your time doesn't start running until you're sentenced on the most recent case.
Oh, shit.
So all that time didn't count.
Just wasted.
So I took 3 2-year sentences ran concurrently.
That's fucking horrible.
With boot camp. But I didn't want to go to boot camp because I knew I wasn't done. Because everyone on deck's like, no, fool, don't waste your shit on boot camp. Don't waste your boot camp on no possession charge. They're like, waste it on a real charge. Because you can only get it once.
Yeah, they only give you one shot.
Yeah, boot camp. So, but the thing was that stopped me, believe it or not, because I didn't want to shave my head. I'm just like weird about that. Now all things do is weird. So I didn't want to shave my head.
Like you have a lot of hair.
It's
look like you're bald.
deceptive.
Okay.
Shave my hairline a little later, I guess. But when I went there, because they were like, they say you want to take psych meds to get out of boot camp. So I took the psych meds to get out of boot camp, and what that did is that, and once again, I'm an idiot, I didn't know that. This classifies you as a higher risk inmate because you're taking psych meds.
Oh.
So I went from the dorm rooms in Stateville, NRC, which is processing. So you go from Lake County Jail to Stateville. You're around the worst people ever. It's like a scene out of the fucking movie, basically. You're like these 5 huge bird cages. Everyone's handcuffed. There's this eerie quietness where you can only hear like whistles and like keys jingling. I can't explain the atmosphere, but everyone's sitting there. You got your little milk. You got your like bologna sandwich, your sweat meat. You're like filling out all this paperwork. You can't talk.
It sounds like a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
That's like...
It's a nightmare.
What's going through your head while you're sitting there, you know?
For me, it's finally over. I'm
Really?
finally done with probation. I'm finally done with like having my life controlled by the court system.
You're feeling relieved.
I'm feeling relieved.
Wow.
Because I know I thought I was only going for like this is before this is what I thought I was only doing like 3 months because I had time served or whatever.
Yep.
No. So because of that, this bomb, one day they call my name and they go, Travis, pack it up. I'm like, where am I going? And then I remember they have like bags. You get a paper bag with your number on it, a K, and then a number. I said K25. And then I put K25 on it. And I landed, it says Western Correctional. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Yeah, other inmates said, if you're going to Western Correctional, I was like, is that good? He's just like, no. Because like you're in a boot camp dorm, he's like, what? He's like, you're on psych meds, so like maybe you'll go to the work camp. There's a work camp called Greene County Work Camp. I didn't go to Greene County Work Camp. So this is where it gets even worse. So I go to Mount Sterling. It's in Mount Sterling, Illinois. It's called Western Correctional. I walk in. We're handcuffed. Dude, like, segregation and intake is the same thing. And dude, it's like it's a scene out of a movie. Now this is when everyone's banging on the cell doors, screaming. People are throwing shit under the cell. Like everyone's
There's just
like,
no peace.
it's like it was like the craziest thing. It's like, it's so out of a movie. Like there's the officers in the one bubble and looking down the hallways and the other tiers. And I literally I was like nauseous. I wanted vomiting. I was like dry heaving. I was like shocked at what's going on. They strip search you. And like one guy was like not wanting to do it correctly. Like, you'll stay in here all day until you do it. I was like, fuck. And then we went to I remember we got our clothes, and then there was almost a fight right there. He's like, because the guy was like complaining about his size. He's like, man, hurry up, dude. I'll blaze you out, dude. I just remember like the little things. It was like just traumatizing and shocking, dude. Yeah. So I'm in this medium maximum security prison because I took psych meds to get out of boot camp. And then they give you the piece of paper when they show your out date. And I look at this, and this was October 13th, 2013 is when I see this piece of paper. Mm-hmm. This shit says October 2014.
Oh shit. So you're fucked for a year.
So I'm thinking I just did 6 months on this, and then I did all this rehab time, and I gotta go to jail for a prison for a year. Luckily, Illinois, and this is before Illinois had the good time in. They got taken out because someone committed a fucked up crime. Luckily, they brought it back. So they brought it back, so I wound up going, after 4 months of being in the worst prison ever, my son had like 80 years for a murder.
Oh my god.
Dude, yeah. After being in there for like months, my mom and I, you can leave this part in, whatever. My family was calling in, dude, whatever. They were. I should never have been there on that deck. I was the only guy serving like fucking an 8 months, 10 month sentence or less or whatever. So yeah. I wound up getting transferred to Stateville or Taylorville, which is a gang-free prison, which was really nice in terms of like prison food.
Yeah,
really good.
fuck, that sounds nice, dude. Gang-free.
Yeah, you're in a fucking.
That's where you're in the middle of that shit, dude.
Yeah, it was lit. It was lit for prison. Like, food was good. Like, relaxed atmosphere. Everyone's going home. You gotta remember, people that aren't going home. It's crazy to play chess with a motherfucker that's never going home.
Yeah, he's gonna sit and play only that chess.
He would ask me. I'll never forget the one conversation. He was like, "I hear cars talk to you." He didn't know how to internalize navigation. GPS.
I can't even imagine how these people who have been serving decades in prison would react to like the Waymos and shit.
They have no idea. He would always ask me questions like about phones, like so he's like, if you touch it, it moves. I'm like, yeah, bro.
It's fucking. That's gotta be just so surreal for them to like just know you never are gonna have a chance.
I would lie about my case. I lied about my case to a couple of guys.
Oh shit!
Hell yeah! So I got 38 years for like an armed robbery.
You're just trying to sound cooler.
Hell yeah! I got 50 days. You got 50 years. I don't know what the fuck.
Hell
so,
yeah!
What's like when you're in jail for a year? What's like your day to day? Like what is?
Dude, you wake up.
Day in
Depends.
life?
You got a job. Depends on the prison too, because the first one you're just in a cell 22
that shitty one that they
hours a day.
sent you to when you're on psych meds, let's say. Like what was your
you're
day
in a
to
cell
day?
22 hours a day.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So you're just like listening to the radio. You get a TV that is cable. There's a movie channel. There's that. Eat commissary, play chess. You get an hour and a half of day room.
I'll be back
You can call someone on the phone or take a shower with water that could cook a noodle in. So I mean,
damn, it's fucking crazy,
dude.
man.
It's fucking miserable, dude.
Oh man, I
It's actually I actually even served worse time, and my story actually gets worse.
Really?
Wow. So then I do this fucking. I got the good time, so I only wound up doing I did like 8 months on that. On top of the other 6. So, dude, I'm doing all this time for just basically nothing, basically, that they got me for or whatever. So, I mean, so then I do the time. I get out. I go to a halfway house in Chicago, dude. May 7th, 2014, I got paroled. And May 21st, 2 weeks later, I go to Monticello in Iowa before I was supposed to meet my brother to go to Eastern Illinois to party with him in Charleston. I decided to get 5 bags of heroin, and the miracle happens. The one time I get caught, dude, doing a hand-to-hand transaction, the cops pulled up right then and there. Goes, go down the block. So then I walked down the block the other direction, thinking he said the other way, but then he's like, no, you got to go that way. So then I'm just holding 6 of the biggest bags. For some reason, these bags are the biggest bags ever. So then I walk out of the gangway, and then I see the cops pulling up right there. So they're still in the car, I have the dope in my hand, and I just start shoving it in my ass as fast as I can.
Like actually in your ass?
Fuck yeah.
Penetration?
Yeah. I tried. I wish I would have. I didn't because the bags were too big. My asshole, unfortunately, was too small, which is one of the few times in life you'll hear someone say that. But, dude, it was just fucking surreal. So the cops get out, put your hands up, put your hands up. What's going on? I'm just like, dude, no fucking way. So then fucking, of course, as they're searching me, like the cops on the west side are super aggressive, so they start tugging on my pants, dude. And like a scene out of a movie, dude, like one bag slips down, dude. Boom. Right there. Now they have all the probable cause they need to, so they just
over.
Now it's over. So they stick their hand, he sticks his hand in my ass, grabs the rest of the dope. It's like, fuck. And that was the only time in my life I actually felt suicidal.
Really?
Yeah. That was the only time I ever thought about killing myself, ever.
So did you say that was like your rock bottom in addiction?
You would think it would have been, but I would say that was near it.
Okay.
And we're also leaving out a lot of other fucked up experiences of sleeping on fucking mattresses that are only made out of spring, using fucking tablecloths in negative 10-degree weather, sleeping on trains, getting robbed on trains, police on trains, like fucking hanging out with people that have crazy warrants, getting the crack houses raided by police.
What's like the worst spot you ever slept in for a night?
I was living off Keeler and Wilcox, which is in the heart of the west side. I was like, it was like a father and this girl that had like 9 or 10 kids in like a house that had 2 bedrooms. And dude, it was so bad. I mean, that house was bad, but then I was in vacant houses that had shit rooms and piss rooms, needles and garbage everywhere. I would sleep in those.
That sounds scary.
We would use candlelight for like heaters.
And anyone can just come in that shit.
People did.
All the time.
They got robbed.
It sounds terrifying, dude.
It is terrifying. I'm very lucky to be alive. Some of them got robbed when I was in it. Get robbed at gunpoint, gotta comply.
Now, you mentioned one of the
Prostitutes
things...
be getting assaulted in there. It'd be fucking terrible, dude.
Yeah, you gotta get the fuck up out of there, dude.
Dude, I did. But like, you just go to another one. Dude, I don't know. Addiction is so nefarious and hard when you're in that, that cycle. I don't know, man. It's just tough.
I feel like when you're in it, you don't even realize what's happening around you, too.
You don't. It's like time is like passing you by, and like you just become so content with whatever's happening. You just feel like there's no way out.
Yep.
And I don't know. People would tell me, even though they're inmates and officers, they would always say, like, teachers younger, they always say like I have like an X factor, or like they would say that I have potential if they would get to talk to me. So I mean, I always felt like I was meant to do something in life at some point, is what I felt like.
Yeah, something better than getting high.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of negative energy, dude. And, I paid a big karma bill.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like, maybe I didn't serve the amount of prison time that I should have, but I was in rehab. I lost my family. I lost their trust. To this day, my mom, I'm almost 10 years clean. I'll be 10 years clean next year. I don't think she 100% trusts me.
Really?
I think my dad does without me.
I mean, dude, a decade straight of addiction will do that,
It was that, but I want people to understand that's how, traumatizing it is for the parents and the people that, love you and stuff.
Yep. Sounds like you're about to flip the scale, though, where you're about to have been sober longer than you were getting high.
We're there.
You're there,
We're
dude.
really close.
It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's fucking awesome. How do you, I guess this is skipping ahead a little bit. We got a lot more, but 9 years deep in sobriety, I mean, how do you, stay sober?
Well, I mean, I'm not 100% sober.
For sure, but I mean, stay off heroin. How do you, does it call to you every now and then? Really?
Never. I never think about it.
Coke still talks to me a lot.
Really?
Coke talks to me a lot.
Does it really?
Oh, yeah. In the back of my head. For me, when I quit Coke, I wasn't having, physical withdrawals, it was totally, dude, the craziest mental addiction.
I mean, I'll be honest, I've done cocaine within the last 10 years a little bit here and there.
I've done it since I quit, for sure. I mean,
it's just not, to me, I don't even look at it as like an addictive drug. But it is for some people.
For sure, yeah.
For sure. I mean, I know a lot of people that have their life ruined by it.
If you can genuinely use drugs in a recreational, way and not get addicted, more power to you.
That's what I found out I can. I just cut out heroin.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm not, let's just be clear here. I'm not using drugs regularly.
Yeah. You're not sitting
These are very, very isolated incidents. If
you didn't rip any lines before we started.
Yeah, no. This is like, and honestly, recently, it has not been recent. So this would be even some years back.
Yeah.
Shit, but to me, I classify addiction less about the day. I mean, I do have my, the March 3rd, 2016 sobriety date is when I was done with heroin. But like, I consider that day was the day that I decided that I wanted something different. I feel like that's really what, to me, to beat addiction, you're not beating you're beating taking the drug itself, but it's more you're beating this lifestyle, this behavior, and these choices that you're making. You're choosing to combat that. Yeah. And then it's like everything, once you look at it like, I'm choosing to combat, being a heroin addict. I don't want to be a heroin addict, so it's like, you need to like, I can't explain. I wanted to go beast mode is what I say. Like, I wanted to go like, no, I mean, it sounds corny, but like, I wanted something else, and I just remember that. I wanted to feel like, I'm trying to articulate this because it's very hard. Like, when you're like, I wanted to like show that I could do it, but like, I finally flipped the switch, and like, I remember like, when it happened, like, it was so progressive, and then one day it just flipped. Because like, when I was in Cook County Jail, even though I wound up using my last month of time I did, my mind had opened up to the possibility that I could be done with this, and I wanted to try something else. Yeah. So then when it actually happened, the last time I shot dope, I did a ceremony, dude, and I did it. My grandmother, Nani, she passed away. I did it with her in the house, and I remember I just said goodbye to it, and I just kissed the syringe, and I threw it away, and that was the last time I ever did it. And I've never done it since. Yeah,
that's interesting.
It is
so
interesting.
you that's super different than pretty much anyone else's last time story I've ever
heard.
It
is, because I feel like I was just saying goodbye with it. My brain had internalized it that I had beaten the game. Like, I feel like that's how I beat it. And I feel like maybe that's what holds some people back. I don't think there's one right way to stop addiction. I don't think there's a cookie cutter recipe for it. I think every case is unique and ubiquitous and needs to be, it just depends on the person's, what their intent is in life. What do they want to do? Like, for me, when I just realized, I want to go pro in Halo. I was 27 at the time, I was like 27, 28, and I wanted to go pro in Halo. And that's just, and I internalized this ball of energy into that. And all, like, the suffering and misery that I, sustained throughout the years of addiction, and I had finally put this in the correct format with Halo 5, and remember, I didn't even stream I didn't even fucking stream for the first like 6-7 months. Yeah, but when I was in the garage, or not the garage, my talent's fucked up. My mom's walk-in closet. So yeah.
Shout out mom for sparing the closet,
yeah, she was, I wouldn't be allowed to leave after 10 p.m. She locked the door on the outside. It was like literally smaller than a jail cell.
Like, so you couldn't leave the closet?
No. And I said, what if I have to piss? She said, then don't drink water after a certain time.
What the fuck?
Obviously that didn't happen, so I started pissing.
Yeah, you gotta piss.
I started pissing in cups and calling it Red Bull. That's serious.
What, she would just clean it up in the morning, or what?
I mean, I would just let it sit there. I was fucking weird. I would just dump it in the morning.
Wait. There's no way that she wouldn't open the closet in the morning and it didn't reek of piss.
It probably did. I mean, I guess maybe she wouldn't open it. She would just unlock the door, like go on with her day. Like I was a fucking gremlin.
It's like letting the dog out of the cage or something.
Yeah.
She's just unlocked that shit. Yeah. Dog's out.
I mean, these were the very, very early days. This is like right when I was off the streets when like no one trusted me. They thought I was gonna rob the house.
So it makes sense that she was.
Made sense.
For sure.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of shocked by the way that you described the last time you got high.
Yeah.
Like, it
was a literal ceremony.
That's crazy as fuck.
Yeah.
One of the things that you had mentioned happening before that a little bit, and kind of caught my attention too, is you said you were in a crack house while it got raided?
Oh yeah, that happened multiple times. There was one time where it got raided, and me and one of my guys that I was with, we went into this old cabinet in the attic, and we were like crouched in there, and there was like syringes that had no caps on them. All around us, and there was like so we couldn't move.
It's like a minefield.
There was a dude, we could have gotten AIDS, hepatitis, whatever.
AIDS field.
So we just sat there, we couldn't move, we couldn't breathe, and we were just sitting there crumpled up. And the police didn't do a thorough search. They could have just opened the door and they would have seen us there.
So were they just looking for like certain
people
people there?
Just like, anyone here?
Okay.
Type shit. Because we were upstairs already. So like we got in there, and I was like kicking syringes before they walked up the stairs and like blowing dust out of dude.
How many times were you there while places got raided?
10 plus times.
Damn. I remember there was one time where that had happened to a friend of mine. I had left a bag of weed at his house, and he told me his house got raided, but I feel like he lied to me. But that's the only near experience I've ever had. I've never been there while that happened. That's gotta be scary as fuck.
Yeah, and it's crazy. It is scary as fuck. But what's crazier is that I deal with the police more now than I did then.
Really?
For no reason.
Yeah, it's a different dynamic now, though, I feel like now you can at least be more comfortable with it.
Yeah, but like they'll still run my name, and I'll have to explain what's going on, and then I have to be humble, and then
They'll see your past, and then you're fucked.
But then they start trying to pass judgment on me. I'm like, dude, I don't want to go there with you, man. But I will do that with you. I don't even want to say like the comments that I made to police officers about their livelihoods.
Yep.
But I'm just saying, like, I try to keep it balanced.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, I think cops suck. So.
Yeah. I've dealt with more bad than good, but there are a lot of, there's good cops.
For sure. Every now and then there's a guy where it's like, hey, you're not half bad.
Right.
But yeah, I'd say probably 9 out of 10 cops are something.
Yeah.
You know? So when you had gotten high for the last time, you had your ceremony, you kind of said your goodbyes. What happened after that? Did you go to rehab, or like how'd you get sober?
No. Actually, I was in outpatient rehab.
Okay. That worked for you?
Dude, it's funny you say that. Out of all the rehabs that I was in, dude, this is where, like, I don't know. I can't explain it, bro.
I did outpatient too. There was sober.
I did it too. I mean, we skipped some of the rehabs, we skipped some of the details.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it would take just days to tell it all. But basically,
the longest episode.
Yeah, we could do that, sure. Then basically, what happened was, I just spaced out.
We were talking about, like, you were in outpatient rehab.
Yeah. So out of all the rehabs I had been to, everything, all the lawyers, everything, it was this rehab, this outpatient rehab that was actually that closed, and it was closing when I was there. Mm-hmm. But for whatever reason, this is why I believe in fate or whatever. I watched this motivational speaker. His name was Eric Thomas. He's this black guy from Detroit.
Okay.
And dude, there was a couple speeches that they played, bro. I don't know what the fuck it was. I was just ready to hear it.
He spoke to you.
He fucking spoke to me, dude.
Damn.
He spoke to me, and the video was so intense, bro. And I remember, like, the numerical references, 7 to 8, 8 to 9, 7 to 10. I just remember hearing that and, like, looking back on it, like, throughout my Twitch metric growth before I switched over to Kick. Like, I just remember, like, seeing, like, how the numbers correlated to, like, certain things that he said in that speech. So, like, I can't explain it, man. It was weird. It was very weird.
Something just clicked in your brain. It sounds like.
Something clicked, dude. I just can't explain it, dude. That was the day. No, that was the day when I walked home, and like I was confident before I was done, but I still maybe had some, like, I don't know, man, vibes. Even though I'd like been done with the heroin, but then that day happened, and that's when it just locked me in to my future, dude. That was the day I was like, I'm gonna be pro in Halo. Now that didn't wind up happening, but I did wind up making this a career. So I guess.
So you were able to have the mental strength to somehow stay sober while not being fully, like, physically cut off from access to heroin, obviously.
I was done. No Suboxone. Wow. This time I had no Suboxone. I never did methadone.
Really?
Listen, I tried it to get high, but like
I mean, it's good that you got sober without
those. But this time
you'd probably still be addicted.
There was that's just terrible. That's just poison. But there was no Suboxone, no detox. I can't do, like, it was like this mentality. I still have it to this day. But, like, back then it was so new. And I was like, damn, I just knew I was going to do something. I can't explain it. And that's why, like, the only thing that stuck for me is AA and NA is that don't quit before the miracle happens. That's the one thing I remember is that one.
Did you go to a lot of meetings?
Yeah, I did. Thousands.
Really?
I can't even tell. I lost count.
They're kind of a good time. I've been to NA. I haven't done AA.
I've been to both so many times. I got mixed reviews about it. It just kind of depends where you're at in life. I believe that you don't need it at all, but I see it work great for some people. So once again, that's where I say, well, just whatever works for you.
100%.
I'm saying don't shove it down anyone's throat, but if this guy is benefiting from it, sure, maybe look into it. I don't fucking know.
Whatever, get you sober, I think is the right path. Like, it doesn't really matter how you get there, you know? It's interesting, too, that you say that, because just a couple weeks ago, we had this dude on named Pat Ridge who owns a sober living house. It's like up in Hollywood here. I don't know if it's around here, but beyond the point. Either way, he came on and he told me that he believes that because I'm able to smoke weed and not be chronically addicted to it, that I'm not a real drug addict. What are your thoughts on that take?
Say that again.
So, all right, for example, I'm just gonna reenact it. It's like, you smoke weed, you take Adderall, right?
Now, when I smoke weed constantly throughout the day, I do not take Adderall unless I feel I need to take it to do something extreme.
So imagine if I said to you, like, hey, because you're able to smoke weed and take Adderall and it hasn't completely ruined your life, you're not a real drug addict.
I actually, I sort of agree with that.
Really?
Yes.
Why?
Is he happy and successful?
Who, the person who said this?
Yeah. Or the only way it could be.
I mean, he told me how he walked in on two black guys fucking his wife, and
well,
like,
did that?
he can't be
He
happy.
probably wasn't happy about that.
I don't know, man. Like, he can't.
The only drug abuse there was Viagra. Wait, yeah, I'm saying, I don't know if that was related to his drug problem, then obviously I'd probably investigate that, right?
Yes.
I'd look into that. But I mean, like, I agree with what he's saying because, like, if he's happy, if you're happy and successful and, like, you're content with it, it's like, it's your mentality. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if you could, I guess, it would have to, like, if you could somehow apply that to where if you were doing heroin every day and you were happy, that wouldn't be likely. That just wouldn't be a likely scenario. But let's just say if that somehow was a scenario, then I would agree with that still. But that's just due to the nature of heroin and how opiates work. That's just not a likely scenario. So what he's referring to is probably more of a cocaine, pill, weed addiction. Not to say those aren't serious addictions. Some people maybe smoke weed and they're not heroin addicts, but they just sat around and did nothing.
For sure.
I mean, you didn't die, you didn't hurt anyone, but you did nothing. Was that a bad addiction? I would say so. So I mean, like, so I feel like you could take that weed philosophy. Obviously, you know, our lives, other people's lives that smoke weed, they're doing great, they're doing fine. So it's like, I do believe you could put that into any drug. It's just the certain addictions aren't going to make that a possible philosophy.
Interesting. That's not the take I expected, honestly.
No, I know. And, you know, over time, I've become more of an extremist with my takes on addiction.
Really?
Because I just feel like the other takes, if you look at the success rate, they're just not working. There's not a lot of success rate with harder drugs, particularly heroin and crystal meth. So it's like, I'm open to more of just like California weed. Like to me, like weed is like, I encourage weed to like a newer, for sure, heroin addict. Like, it's like your brain's so understimulated that they're craving the drug so much. Unless you have my ironclad mentality that I had, that basically took me getting shit on in life 10 years to get, which most people aren't going to make in 2025. You're not going to live that long. Yep. You're going to die from fentanyl.
Yeah, that fent OD is hitting soon.
You're going to die.
Now they got the xylazine and shit.
Yeah,
too,
so now you're like, you're in a, basically you're battling. It's a day-to-day like battle.
Yep.
Like any day your parents could get the call. You could die any day.
100%.
That's my take on that.
Crazy,
I mean, I
man.
feel like it's maybe a, I don't know, a controversial take, but I just feel like if you're doing great, if you're driving a fucking Ferrari, you're doing cocaine, and you're fucking drinking, if you're doing it every day, but you're happy. See, but remember, I'm saying happy and successful. So if you're miserable, but you have money, that's when I would still say it's a problem. I would say you have to be happy and successful, so you can't have one without the other. If you're happy, but you're fucking homeless, that's also not good. You see what I'm saying? So it's like,
well, all right, hypothetical. What if this guy is choosing to be homeless? He loves it. He's successful being
in his own
homeless.
right.
Is that like,
it's a possibility for that to be a take. It's a possible take.
Have you seen?
It's an extreme take. I have seen this take very seldom.
Have you seen the guys who build the two-story like tweaker houses out here?
No, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them in person yet.
But dude, I've driven past a few. They build like second stories with like windows and shit.
Liquid was perfect accuracy.
Dude, literally, they'll steal wood from like Home Depot and just build the houses on wheels out of it. And then when the cops come and tell them to move, they just wheel them up the fucking corner.
It's fun. You guys are crazy.
So, you know, you had really had some kind of iron mental fortitude.
Yeah.
You know, that
but it wasn't hard to do though at the time. It wasn't even hard.
Because you wanted it.
I just wanted it. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's there. It can be done because like I was in a rock bottom situation.
Yeah, you weren't forcing yourself to get sober. Like you genuinely, sobriety sounded better than where you were at.
Winter sounded better than where I was at.
Okay, that makes more sense. And being a winner required sobriety.
Correct. I did do without weed for a little while.
That sounds tough.
I did do without weed, but like to me, the weed, like the weed. I worked at Mariano's Deli. This is like a little tidbit, but like,
oh, Mariano's is fire.
My first time I smoked weed after like the long ass break. We were biking with one of my coworkers, and like I was so high, I bit one of my hangnails in his garage, and I didn't realize it. And I was pedaling my bike back. I was like moving my bike. Well, yeah, I got on a bike because my mom didn't trust me on the car, so I had a bike from the townhouse to work.
Yeah,
where I worked there
crazy.
for 14 years and I quit. And then I got stopped by a cop. and there was blood all over my hand and arm from the hangnail.
Oh no!
But I didn't know because I bit so hard on it. I just thought it was a funny story. First time smoking weed. I didn't have any weed on me or anything. But no one was thinking about that.
Honestly, I count smoking weed as still sobriety. You know?
That's what I say.
I don't think smoking weed changes sobriety.
No.
I say I'm sober. I take shrooms and weed all the time.
I say you're sober as long as it's like. I mean, you can't say you're sober if you're like using a harder drug, but you can say like, I'm not an addict. You can easily say that, like
Yeah.
for sure, it's possible.
Yeah, I think like for a lot of drug addicts too, just going completely cold turkey off every mind-altering substance is like not realistic. Like you fucking can't.
I just noticed that like maybe it's because I'm more aggressive. My online persona is maybe more aggressive, which kind of sucks. I get called a drug addict all day, 24/7.
Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. It just bothers me that like there are drug addicts, and I have lost people to drug addiction a lot. So like I just feel like they're taking a shot at them.
Yep.
So that I feel like I'm defending them.
Yep.
Sort of.
Yeah, I feel that.
And I've noticed like you don't really get those comments. You don't really get like to this day if I like respond to certain like Twitter accounts or I like do certain things, I'll get like. Now, granted, we're not the same people online, so I mean, some of this I don't want to say I have coming, but there's some misunderstandings of me, so I come off, a certain way.
For sure, we'll get to those too.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. I definitely, for me at least, I get comments that are like, I think my most common thing is people say like, oh, like he's clearly like still, not sober. He's an active drug addict. Like he seems coked up in this. I feel like those offend me a little bit. For sure. Like, in a weird way, because, my whole time making content, it's like, yeah, bro, all my shit's about drugs pretty much. So, like, obviously the viewer's going to think, oh, this guy's a fucking cokehead. He does drugs every day. But it's also like, in my head, when I see those comments are like, oh, yeah, he probably never even quit coke, I almost get offended a little bit,
Right.
It's
Well,
like,
a lot of them are also, like, internalizing maybe if you have a personality or have some energy, they're just not maybe the smartest people ever, and they're just thinking.
For sure.
They just might genuinely think you're on cocaine. They tell me I'm on coke all the time.
The internet sucks
never do that
because
shit.
you never know who's behind the screen. You don't know who the fuck you're arguing with.
Right.
Like, you could be arguing with just some absolute fucking
And I
retard.
still, if you look at, we follow each other. I still do it to this day. I don't know if you've seen my.
I've seen some of your recent Twitter beefs for sure.
I'm trying to like.
You get into it, dude.
I get into, and the thing is, some of these accounts have like 28 followers. Like, what am I doing? Like, and that just takes me back. Like, I'm more of an old school guy. I'll be 36 in September. I just feel like, all right, this guy's shit talking me.
You feel the need to clap back.
I'm not factoring in like this is not how anyone professional does anything.
Mm-hmm.
This looks retarded. This makes me look weak and stupid. But it's like, well, fuck that. This guy's shit talking me.
Yep. Dude, it took me. I still like. I try to be better about it. Years ago, I used to play a fuckload of Call of Duty. So like, you played Halo. You know how it is, dude. The shit talking is, it's like built in. You know. And when I stopped playing COD, it's like I carried that to Twitter. It's like if someone came on Twitter, they call me a fat retard, which they do every day, Back 8 years ago, I'm clapping back.
Right.
It took me a while to finally realize, like, yeah, there is, like, a different playing field you're on than them, you know?
Right.
When you stoop down, it's bad.
I just know that, too. I just don't get why. I can't get right or something. Like, I don't know.
Like, in the moment, it's just hard for you to think
better.
like that.
I've gotten better. Now I try to target it to where if it happens, I can at least gain followers from it.
Do you block people at all?
Yeah.
I block hella people.
I block people because I like to get the last word and then block them.
Yes, bro, I do that shit. Yo, that shit is heat, dude.
That's just heat.
Some motherfucker comes up under my tweet saying dumb shit.
I don't have the time to go back and forth with them all day.
I hit them with a nasty ratio and a block, and then it's over with, dude. And then they can go argue with, like, my followers, you know? Yeah, they can go argue with my followers.
I've seen some of those fights. I've seen some fights drag on for
I'll be getting tagged like 3 days later on
I've
shit.
seen that shit go on. Especially like where like everyone feels like they're correct and has to be right about whatever they're saying.
Yeah. Twitter's become so much more toxic in the past like years.
Like it's a far right wing. It's almost an extremist app.
It's nuts. It's always been politically leaning, like no matter the direction.
Right.
But for sure, there was a time where I couldn't drop a hard R on the timeline and not get banned.
Right.
And now you can just fucking do that.
Yeah.
Which is insanity to me.
What they're going on over there, what they're doing.
Fucking crazy. So, kind of taking it back to, on track on this. Oh, no, you're good, dude. We're chilling.
We're just cruising.
We're just cruising. So when you had kind of quit, you're trying to become a pro Halo player.
Yeah.
How
That's
long
why.
were you giving that a go?
2 years.
And did you start streaming during that time
So
too?
the first 6 months, I actually didn't stream at all.
Okay.
I was just getting my gameplay better, and I didn't know how to go pro. It wasn't until my boy
All right, guys.
told me. I remember the account.
Thanks for
manager,
hanging
he's
out.
Like, dude, you want to go?
I'm gonna end the stream right now because my battery's down to 13%. I'm gonna lose battery. So anyway, I'll see you guys later. Thank you for hanging out with me. Have a wonderful evening. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Do it for 3 hours a day. Cool. See ya.